And we're live here once again at the Station of Decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
Annabelle cannot be here tonight, and she is sorry, but was looking forward to talking to everybody. And we're joined by the fine fellows who made a lot of cool stuff: Attack of the Killer Refrigerator, The Hook of Woodland Heights, Days Before Christmas, which I'm interested in. Mark Veau.
How are you, gentlemen? Thank you for having us on tonight.
Yes, thank you for doing it. And Michael Savino.
Yes.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Media House Films.
For a long time.
Yeah, very cool. So, first of all, 1985, you guys began to work on Attack of the Killer Refrigerator?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about
it. Right? A little bit before then, right, Marcus? A
little bit before then. And
yeah, because we made it for the TV station while we were in college. So it'd probably be in the
84 range.
84 range. Yeah. Because by 85, I was producing local cable ads on the fall. So it was before then, probably in the late 83 or the fall of 83. I think we were trying to ID that one time, but yeah, definitely before 85. But yeah, we were just doing it, shooting video, making content for the local, for the college TV station. And Mark and I have an apartment together. And it was our first apartment, my first apartment. I think, was that your first apartment?
Yeah, my very first as well. Yeah, absolutely.
And we just turned it into a TV studio using equipment that I had. I had a two-piece camera. I think it was a RCA camera, and it was about this. It was pretty big at the time. You've probably seen pictures. And then tethered off to a deck that had a gargantuan battery that I think lasted maybe 40 minutes.
Tough. Yeah, old school. We had had an audio production studio in my bedroom, which was an old PV board with blind man's knobs, 6-channel. So that's how archaic. I mean, it was shortly after Marconi invented the radio. You know what I mean? Now, but we had a lot of fun. So what you could do with your phone, and Michael and I always talk about this, what you could do with this is so much more than what you could do with what we had. But the concept and the thrill of creating content, remains the same, so to speak.
Yeah. So, this is way before the internet. So, what kind of background did you guys both have in for editing, for the audio, for filming?
I'll start with the audio, and then Michael, I'll do the audio portion, and Michael can do the video portion. So, for audio, for the soundtrack of the entire piece is really what it is a bunch of records being spun backwards at ridiculous pitches on turntables. And it was rigged up to go through an old 8-inch or quarter-inch, reel-to-reel deck. And if you put the deck in record and pause and then sent it back through the board, you'd get this crazy kind of guitar pedal echo sustain on just about anything you ran through it. And you could control it with the pots on the board. So that's how we did that. And it was all dubbed down to a really reel-to-reel tape at the time. So open reel. And that's how we did it. It was just layers and layers and layers of sound. If we used that, we called it gloom music, actually, because it was very gloomy, Something came up with one day that the college
we actually shot a video based on this gloom music that Mark created. And it was pretty, we shot a lot of graveyards. We shot graveyards on fire, graveyards with smoke bombs, and our advisor at the time was very upset with us that we aired this on the TV channel.
Well, it was Easter. I think that might have had something to do with it too. We didn't really take that into consideration on the programming schedule. So
we just thought it looked cool. We thought it looked cool. That the music felt cool. That's what Mark created. This crazy music.
Yeah.
But on the video side of it, the Killer Refrigerator was done, really for the channel that the TV channel for the school. I also used it for a project for my editing class, because back then we did have editing in college, and we were using VHS JVC system, where it's basically a cuts only system. There were no graphics whatsoever to be inlaid or inserted at the time. Back then, you had to have a lot of expensive equipment to keep the time of the video, and we called it control track. And if you broke that, your video kind of flickered, and you might see that a lot you see that, I tell you, when you see that in the original Killer Refrigerator, because that was done with basically a deck to deck type of cutting. It was kind of difficult at the time. So we had this system, and we had the audio basically from a microphone on the camera. And what we did was we recorded that with some of Mark's music, and we would drop it off to a tape. And then we would take that tape, cue it up with the master, and bring that on and add more sound effects. So it was called ping-ponging audio back in the day. So you basically dropped it from one channel to the next. And as you did that, you were able to add some tracks. So, we added some of Mark's music. We would add some of the slams. We would add some of the screams. We would add some of the little hits on the effect. And it was very rudimentary at the time. And in college, that was, a little bit ahead of its time there. But considering what we can do today, it was basic, basic.
Were you guys going to school to become filmmakers? Or?
Yep. Well, communications majors.
Yeah.
And we basically followed that career. Mark and I kept going with it. Mark was on radio for how many years, Mark?
Almost 30.
So
30 years.
That's right. Yeah.
When you start making Refrigerator, what's the idea to do with it? Are we just gonna do this for fun, or once you start doing it for a while, hey, let's try to get this out somewhere?
No, it was just for fun. We never thought we'd be talking about this right now. It still perplexes me, as you can tell by the expressions on my face. I'm still perplexed. I don't understand, because if you really think about it, we spent $25 complete cash out of pocket to make it, not including tape stock and time, is how we always put it, of course. However, we spent literally $25 on smoke bombs that Michael picked up in Virginia, Gara syrup, and food coloring, and that whole thing. And we put it together. We said, this is going to be funny. Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. The stories that you may have heard, gentlemen, are true. We were literally sitting there because we used to shoot on this half-inch stuff, on this VHS, anything, moldy bread, we'd set up some scenes. We just, whatever caught our interest. So the Killer Refrigerator is actually a Frankenstein production made up from scenes from other movies, with the Killer Refrigerator scenes sewn in to make somewhat of a story. We didn't really write it out. We made it up as we went along. We're going to show it on the college TV station and have a premiere at the college bar. They don't have bars in colleges anymore, but they did when we went to school. And we were all going to have our friends in it, and blah, blah, blah. And that was going to be it. And
a few laughs and create another one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then we entered a contest in Minneapolis, Minnesota, called the Argus National Video Awards in 1985. And we won Worst Video of the Year, and $60 and a tape of all the other entries we won. And it was great. So then that leaked to the press a little bit. We got some local press coverage. Then we got some regional press coverage. And then the next thing you know, we're putting it in video stores in central Massachusetts, where we're from, pretty much within that area. Michael worked at a video store, moonlighted at a video store when we were in school. So we got it in that one. And then the next thing you know, more video stores wanted it. And the next thing you know, Michael runs into Michael Scholl of Donna Michelle in Las Vegas in 1989 at the VSDA show. He shows interest in both The Hook, because The Hook was done at this time, and The Refrigerator, and put it out on his label, which is Donna Michelle. And a year later, I flew out to Vegas for the launch, and the rest, as they say, is somewhat history. For a $25 film, it's Watch Mojo ranks it at number 7 of the most killer inanimate objects in the movies
I'm a big
Nice.
fan of killer inanimate objects.
Yeah,
to begin with.
yep.
And I would just say that because you're here. I mentioned this in the show. So.
No, it's weird how that happens. Variety reviewed it, for crying out loud. There's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie when it came out on the VHS version of Donna Michelle, their version. Variety reviewed it, and there's I can't. Michael, do you remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? It was the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that they spent how many millions on, and our film right next to it for $25, but they're still talking about it. So it's kind of taken on a life of its own. Then when the internet came into play, it just propelled it. So it's a perpetual thing with the killer refrigerator.
Along those lines, like so when the internet comes along and people start talking about it again, like obviously it's still on your mind because like you guys made it when you're younger and stuff. But did you kind of forget about like people like finding it by then?
It was gone.
Yeah,
it was gone. And you know, the minute we got out of college, Mark and I started doing other things. We started writing Snapper, and then we wrote this project called Tainted Love, and then we wrote another one called Megahertz, and we have another one, AM/FM. So we just kept writing, and like I said, Mark's been in radio. I produce TV commercials and corporate video. I've been doing it since I walked out of college to today. You know, we keep writing, we keep putting the films, and now that my family is grown and moving on, you know what I mean? I have a lot more time to devote towards projects that I love. And Mark and I have a incredible script for Attack of the Killer Refrigerator 2.
Nice.
So we've done a lot since then. You know, we made Days Before Christmas, you know. Never in my wildest dreams did I think the Killer Refrigerator was going to go beyond the Donna Michelle at this point.
Well,
and then, you know, because we really didn't, you know, promote it at all. It wasn't until Terrorvision came around and Brad Henderson kind of over many years kind of talked us into it.
Yeah.
You know, and
it happened overnight.
Because, you know, you look at it's okay. It's not, you know, it's not a Spielberg production. It never was. And if you read the review in Variety, you know, it's not the greatest review, but, you know,
it was better than
I think they beat Schwarzenegger, they beat on worse. And I was like, that's even better, you know. So to have it go where it's been, it's been great. It's definitely been fun to talk about and to hear comments, you know.
Yeah.
Every time you search the internet, there's a new review. For a while there, when the internet first came out, I got kind of bothered because they were treating it like the movie just came out, and I was the worst director ever. And I remember that Marcus used to say to you, but now, you know, that was back in in the early 90s. When the internet was coming out, and it started to again bring this life of it together. You know, it was fun. It's a fun little movie. It really is. I look at it now and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see all the mistakes, but you know, one take on many of them. And you know, the refrigerator was not a prop. We used it that night to put our milk back.
What you can tell, that's you know, practical stuff. Even bad practical effects have a charm to them, where I think you know, bad CG just looks bad.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Neil, it's funny you bring that up because we did learn, this was later years, that Tom Savini used the VHS as a teaching tool when he was teaching special effects. Awesome. You know, he's got that school in Pennsylvania. And we found that out from Michael wandering into a store one day, and some guy, hey, you know, recognized him, you know, and said, "Killer Refrigerator," and this, that, and he goes, "How'd you know?" He goes, "Oh, Tom Savini used the Killer Refrigerator as a teaching tool when I did the class." So when that stuff happened, well, and there were other things too. You know, at the 1990 VSDA, or when it came out, Linnea Quigley was sitting at our booth, you know, with Attack of the Killer Refrigerator stuff, displaying that, and Elvira as well was around the corner. And it was just weird to see Elvira with Attack. So it's a cute little movie, but it what it's done is, because we didn't have a script, because we kind of Frankensteined it together with things from other projects we were working on or just shooting for the hell of it. We got really into screenwriting. We realized how screenwriting changes the game, and we still practice every day. We practice screenwriting, and we've really absorbed that, and we were really inspired by a writer by the name of Marlon Stitt in college. Kind of got us thinking along the way of, maybe instead of just putting some scenes together and making a story, actually write the story. And we really take pride in the stories that we write in a screenplay format, because screenplays are everything in film production. It's the most important thing in film production, really, if you come down to it. So that's why we're really jacked up about Attack of the Killer Refrigerator 2, because we take that campiness of Attack of the Killer Refrigerator, the first one, we do seed it with it, but it does turn into a more of a traditional horror movie. I would say the second, major plot point going through it. So the last, say, 30 to 40 minutes, 45 minutes of it finishes off as a more of a traditional horror movie without giving too much away, rather than just being a campy and we unplug it from the wall. But a lot of those thought processes of the reason why the fridge could do that is carried over into Attack 2.
I love the graphics that I've seen on your website for it.
Oh, yeah.
And I have the little trailer here, the teaser, if you would like me to play it.
Sure, go ahead.
You go right. That'd be great. Yeah.
Hey, Mr.
Now, honestly, that has me very interested.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
As you notice,
I was just saying real quick, it's a good time too, because now there's a lot of people who have fondness. They grew up in the 80s and the 90s. And we also see a lot of sequels, to previous movies, even if they're decades later.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we could guarantee that if you like the first one, you will love the second one. And just the characters that we've developed in it, the storyline, it just all makes sense for a horror movie. It's kind of weird. There aren't really any holes, We've been working on it for a long time too. So, and of course, we leave it open to your imagination. And but the refrigerator takes on a shocking personality that you're just not going to see coming.
yeah, and that was very important to us to accomplish that, because if you look at all your traditional, like the high budget, or the low budget, high return Friday the 13th franchise, you can go all the way down Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever. Jaws even would fit into this mold. And we looked at those movies and we really realized that the antagonist, the monster in those movies really never has a character arc change. I mean, Freddy's going to be Freddy and does what Freddy does, and he's great.
Yep.
Jason never utters a word. Michael Myers, the same thing. The shark in Jaws, just like Richard Dreyfuss said in the movie, it swims, it eats, it makes baby sharks. That's all they do.
Yeah.
So it's never going to have a range of change. The actions are a different thing. So it was important for Michael and I to come up for a really plausible, it had to be plausible, range of change for the refrigerator. And we definitely, we nailed it. I think you're not going to see it coming. Yeah. We won't see it coming. And then
Go on, sorry.
it takes on a whole new direction in the movie.
Yeah. So what are the plans right now to are you doing crowdfunding to try to get this off the ground?
Well, the crowdfunding, we did have a Kickstarter campaign. Our goal was lofty, to really do a horror movie to a level where people are going to enjoy it, and to make sure you don't abuse people as well. Like, a lot of the people that we use in our crews are actual professionals. I mean, this is what they do day in, day out. They pay their bills this way, their car payments, their insurance, the whole bit. So we put together our budget of what it would take, and it came out to, like about 2 million, so it's pretty pricey. This is like a 45-day shoot with many different fridges, not necessarily one, in order to have the head exploding and the chomping and the body parts being queued up, spit out, all the effects that our fans want to see. It takes time, it takes money, it takes talent. We have a great talented crew standing by in the wings. So currently, we are looking for people who are interested in being individual investors and coming on board and being part of the project, and also reaping the rewards of being a part of the project. The Kickstarter thing was great, got a lot of notoriety, but I think the goal was very lofty.
Yeah. So we're back to more traditional. We're searching out different areas. We have some things in play. With a project like this, it's been around. We wouldn't be talking about this if the interest wasn't there, but we've certainly gauged the interest with a 15-minute original film. And this is this new film is, your traditional hour and 90 minutes, hour and a half. We're hopeful that people will realize that there is an interest in this, and for the short film, the original one, to be expanded into a feature film is definitely going to be make some waves in the horror community too.
Oh, definitely. No, people will not be disappointed. So if there are viewers out there that have a cash windfall and want to get a part of a cool project, reach out to Neil and he'll get in contact with us.
Sure,
Or
and
you can go to MediaHouseFilms.com.
attackofthekillerrefrigerator2.com.
Oh yeah, you can go there. Just drop us an email. We respond quickly. We're thrilled. We love the project. I mean, we really do. I mean, the whole thing is pretty much storyboarded. I have the budget. My first goal was, after the Kickstarter campaign didn't reach its goal, I was like, let's shoot it for $10,000 a day. And then you start to add up scenes that are a little bit more complex. We have a couple that require a bunch of extras and multi-days, and again, many kills that require money to create. This is not going to be let's grab a couple sandwich bags and put it into her arm. The audience has become more sophisticated. We're still trying to do it all in the 80s. We really want to do it in the 80s as well, in the 80s style. So we're trying to do few digital effects as possible, but it's all fun.
I think a lot of the digital effects for the best way is you don't notice that they're digital, and to cover up certain things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we'll probably use some
enhancing other things, and that's all good.
Yeah. We have a couple scenes where, this beautiful Victorian mansion, as the refrigerator is taking over this party scene, the mansion just deteriorates, and we're probably going to use a lot of mats, digital mats, like in the old days, where you make things look older and more destroyed without actually really destroying them,
Right.
Because I don't think they'd be pretty happy with us at that point. And then we have other scenes. We do have 2 studio scenes in the movie that we have to shoot in the studio. There's no way around it. They're just too intricate, too involved. And we cut it back. I mean, our original script, well, how was it, Mark? 138 pages?
138, it was going to be like the epic. It was going to be longer than the Titanic was, when that came out in the theaters. But, but you know what it is? And that was more of you always just right. And then you start cutting back. But, it's hard. It's like losing a family member, some of these scenes, when you have to cut them, but it just really comes down to cost. That's what everything does, and time. And we just, when Michael and I write, it's like an osmosis thing. I don't know what it is, but we're thinking the same thing. It comes out. There's like this connection. Boom, 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 boom. Let's do this. We have some great stuff. And, the ideas just flow. So you write them down and then you edit down later, but we've got the script down to a very cohesive, I think it's 96 pages now. And it's up a little higher. Yeah, it might be. It's not, well,
I think it's 107, right?
Is it 107 now?
Might be.
Yeah.
But we just had interest on another film. Somebody inquired about our project called Megahertz, and that one's only 88 pages, and so far so good. It's a great little read, a little project. I just reread it when they were, out of the blue. Hey, we want to hear about your computer movie. So it's we got recommended to put it into some contests, and saying that it's a really good script, and that one's a crazy one. Totally not horror. Just the storyline is an outcast computer learns about forgiveness after saving the network from the evil warrior virus. So that's
I
like the
kinda
one
like that.
line.
Yeah, it's very topical today with all the AI out there.
Oh, it's
And yeah, we wrote that one back about 25 years ago too. So,
Oh wow.
and it's still
all the rage.
right. Well, the funny thing is, nobody has done it since or yet. Since we wrote it way back when. I reread it, and I was telling Mark, it's probably one of our best. Besides the Killer Fridge 2, it's definitely our best. Some of our best work, I think.
Yeah, but we have Snapper too. We want to get Snapper done. We love that story,
Snapper. Talk about
quick things here. I am Mr. Roach. Says I'm very excited. Pepe Potit, that's cool of Tom Savini.
Yeah.
That was from earlier. Colleen the Conqueror. Oh man, I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
And Pepe, I love the genre of inanimate murder objects.
Love it.
Yeah, that's definitely a cool thing.
Check out the Watch Mojo list. Top 10 killer inanimate objects. It's funny too, because you got Night at the Museum that precedes us at number 6, and then all of a sudden we pop up at number 7. So you go from a multi-million-dollar set to Killer Refrigerator, and they gave us more airtime than they did with the other one, because I don't know if they still believe that it exists or not. I'm not quite sure, but it's funny. It's different, as you notice with the new version of the fridge. Now we have teeth, right?
Yeah, and I love it.
Those are done by
Honestly,
our mechanical special effects guru Brandon Paquin, and he came up with the teeth, and the fridge will be able to do a lot of other things rather than just chomp on you. It has some weaponry that's built into it, and it's all food related ammo, and it's very cool, but like I said, it does go from that campiness to more of a traditional horror, and the turn really comes very similar to Days Before Christmas. First time she goes in the mall, nice and bright, it's Christmas time. Second time she goes in the mall, it's still Christmas time, but now it's the bad part of Christmas. The mall's not as brightly lit. We did that on purpose, and so we kind of took that story model idea and then kind of instituted it with Killer Fridge 2. So you learn, though. This is what comes from learning from screenwriting every day. If you want to write, you got to do it every day, and it's a lifetime commitment. There are times Michael and I go, yeah, it's like,
how many times can we change the script? Is what the wife said.
It's like, okay, we'll do this. But if you're serious about screenwriting, and it's well known, it's a lifetime commitment, okay? And I keep reminding him that Colonel Sanders didn't sell his first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise until Colonel Sanders was 66 years old. So we still have a little bit more time, but not a lot. So we want to get it done, and we're doing everything we can. And having you guys having us on today is a big help to us, because it gets word out a little bit more, the more doors you knock on, we appreciate it, and keeping the genre alive and I was gonna mention, I love your logo. I love, we design all our own logos, but I love your logo, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I design the logos here too. Troy does a lot of the pen and ink art for some of our caricatures.
Yeah, luckily Michael and I we have a graphic design background that kind of just filtered into our lives, so we both do it. And that's all that stuff that you saw on the website was all put together by us. That's another thing. We love doing it, but it's I'd rather sometimes rather be pitching. You know what I mean? So we're working on that. It's a unique enough of a project. Excuse me, that it will. I think it'll draw some interest, because you just got to see it. Like, Holy Grail was made by John Cleese approaching George Harrison. And when George Harrison funded the movie, because he was the executive producer on Holy Grail, John asked him why he gave the money over. And George said, I wanted to see the movie. He read the script. He wanted to see the movie. So, maybe, but we'll.
Can't really blame him on that.
No, no, not at all. But we'll work it out. We'll work it out. We're confident that we'll work it out, and we want to bring it because it's a really cool story and it's a different experience.
You mentioned Snapper 2. Now,
Yeah.
would you call it Snapper 2 or would you just call it Snapper since the original
be called
Snapper was
Snapper.
never quite finished?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
used
it
the
was-
original script.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Snapper.
we've actually revisited that one since John's documentary came
Which
out.
I highly recommend. I got to see it. I thought it was great. It's a great documentary. People don't know about your unfinished movie about a giant snapper turtle, which that alone is great. But I also thought it's nice watching because you really see your friendship over like decades, and there's a lot of heart to the documentary.
Yeah, and well, he first approached us, and we didn't know what he was going to do with it because we had the footage, but we didn't have a movie, And that footage we shot on 16 millimeter too. That's where we started shooting on film, which is one of the reasons why Gaze was shot. Gaze was also shot on 16 millimeter. But John came up and said, "Hey, I want to do this documentary." Him and David Bigelow kind of heading up that. And it's like, all right, here's the footage. Do what you're going to do. But I don't know what you're going to do because there's really no story there. But he didn't see it like we saw it. It's hard to see the forest through the trees when it's, on the backside, the flip side, he saw something there. And I did very well at the festivals. And, again, we're happy to do that. But Snappers, we're pretty proud of Snapper, too. And I can't tell you how many people said, "Damn, I was going to do it." And this is not a Japanese Godzilla size snapping turtle.
Right.
It's bigger than most. It'll, take your fingers off and more. But it was it's a fun little Jaws like story. Same kind of deal, this thing, except the difference is that the snapping turtle can kill on land too, can it? And in the water. So that's what messes everybody up. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, we're psyched, and we did a lot of work for Snapper. Again, shoot the footage for a trailer, dub the trailer down to VHS, typewrite a letter to whoever studio it was going to, put it in the mail, hope for the best, and never heard back from anybody. 30 years goes by, and John hears about it and starts going nuts, which is great for us. So we owe a lot to John. We love John, and he's just an amazing documentary filmmaker, all the stuff he's done with it.
And it's funny. I had him on the show a few years ago. I had met him at Rock and Shock and I think Boston Underground Film Festival. And so it was a few years ago, and he was just talking about Snapper. He was on for a Jaws project he had coming out, and he said his next thing he was working on was the Snapper film. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And then I actually didn't put them together that it was you guys until we set up this interview. And so I was like, oh, John.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
so it was a cool coincidence.
Yeah, very cool.
No, Snapper was a fun project. We thought that by producing a trailer, having something visual that somebody could see would aid in selling the script. And and we had fun doing it. I mean, we came up with some little cool special effects. We had,
honestly, effects are great.
Yeah, the little turtles made. We had the big turtle, the small turtle. We even had little mini promo turtles that we sent with the tapes. The trailer was edited. I can tell you exactly when I looked at the trailer, I wasn't overly happy because we didn't have a lot of room. I mean, we couldn't zoom into the footage. So when you got footage, and some of the footage had leaks on the side, so you'd see red bars on the side. I may have put some of that in our documentary called Defrosted. It's on our Blu-ray DVD. But you'll see there was a term for it. I can't remember it now, but we had a lot of footage that was like light leaked, and or we bought bad stock because we used to buy the cheap stock, the short ends and the partial reels and anything that was just cheap enough that we could afford, because we were shooting a lot of 16 millimeter. So there was a lot of disappointment on my end, being the director and the editor, going, okay, I can't zoom in on this. So there's really no way for me to get beyond it. I had to do it back in the transfer, which I had him do on many occasions. He would cut it out. But there were times in there when you just want to have a little bit more. And we could do that all digitally now, But it was fun. It was a fun project. It was great to work with a film camera. It was great to work with a bunch of people who were all just striving to get one goal, which was to get that scene done for the night or the day that we were shooting. Some of that stuff was shot in literally early October, and I had one of our guys in the water. He said, "I'll go in."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Wow,
Couple
okay."
of people.
Oh, yeah, Eric Jasmine. He
Eric
was in there.
Jasmine. But that footage, that 16 millimeter footage, held up so well because we hadn't looked at it until the documentary came back out.
Right.
We saw. I'm trying to think. I can't remember if we saw rough cuts, but we have how well it held up. It was just amazing. But that's what we love about filmmaking. It's such a collaborative effort. There's no other art form like it, right? You've got all these people striving, like Michael said, to get this one shot done. And sometimes it can take days. Days Before Christmas is a great example. We needed a mall that was full with people packed for Christmas. 13 malls turned us down and told the mall that let us shoot it in it, but they didn't have any foot traffic. So we had to create that. And we did it by calling up the schools in the area, having them posted on their end of the day PA announcements. And I think we took a small ad out in the Quincy Ledger or something, a town just outside of Boston. And we were able to pack them all. And so we were used to working with a lot of people. And we're going to need that for Attack of the Killer Refrigerator too, as well.
For New England people like Troy and I. So when I was watching the documentary and you mentioned Jerry Ellis from Building 19, that put a big smile on my face. I miss Building 19. I was a big fan of
They're now called Ollie's.
Oh yeah,
the Ollies, and they still have the same artwork.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were told it was the Harbor Lights Mall in Weymouth at the time, and we were in front of people. We pitched a bunch of malls, it was like 13 malls. It said no because of the content of the movie. So then we started saying, well, we're not going to tell them everything now. We're not going to tell them that what the content of the movie is. And ironically, and I don't want to give anything away for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Days Before Christmas, there isn't even. It won the Houston International Film Festival, but there's not even a drop of blood in it. You know what I mean? But it's the thought. It's more of a Hitchcockian style story, more of a thriller, but still very cool and kind of eerie and scary in some parts. In 10 minutes, we needed 10 minutes because it was originally meant for HBO as a bumper between feature films back in the day. And we put the whole thing together. So that was, and they went on to win the Houston International Film Festival in 1992. And we flew down to Houston and we got an award from Martin Landau. There you go. So then we had a great time.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty
I believe it is the 51st year this year of the Houston International Film Festival, the 50th year, I think 51 years they've been doing it. So a quarter of a century ago, we were there.
It was a fun time. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great festival. Houston is World Fest Houston. So we want to keep doing that and just using ideas and seeing where we could take them and continuing on. And TerraVision's been great. If you want a copy of the Blu-ray, terror-vision.com. And it's up there now. It's a special limited edition slipcover. I know there's a couple on your way, or one of them is on heading toward your guys pretty soon. So
but there's a lot of cool stuff on there. We did back, when was it, Marcus? We put out a DVD. I think it was because I don't even know, probably because I learned how to make DVDs.
Okay.
And I decided to program, went through that stage of, I'm going to learn how to make DVDs for my clients. And it has some really intricate programming. I can tell you that much. There's some montages of scenes, and I did a whole bunch of cool stuff on that DVD. But Mark and I recorded these really cool, and I heard one reviewer say, never before seen how we put the movie in front, like a picture-in-picture, and Mark and I are in the back watching it with you, and we talk about how we got things done, and it's really kind of cool. It's like a director's commentary, and you could tell we're burnt out by the third one. You're like, but it's fun, and we give some really cool information in there, some stuff that I forgot about the productions and about what happened with the specific scenes. like I said, the Killer Refrigerator was, like Mark was saying, pulled together from many different things. And, the Hook was definitely more professional, where we had storyboards, we had script, we had a shooting schedule, but we didn't have a consistent crew. We had a couple of consistent people, but most of the time we were, having new people all the time. And everybody says to me, well, why don't you just shoot the Fridge 2 that way? And it's very difficult when you get new people all the time, because you got to teach them their task and, teach them what's going on with, how the crew's working. So another reason why it costs so much money, because you want that, crew to be kind of, familiar with each other. So
Absolutely.
it's got a lot of fun stuff on it. There's the original Killer Refrigerator, which is only about 22 seconds long.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
a TV.
we used to use this as a bumper between programming on the TV station. So we'd play a music video tape, then we would hit we'd have our PSAs about smoking, and usually was smoking, dog, taking care of your dogs and animals, and from the MSPCA or whatever it was back then in the day. We used to get free tapes from people, and we used to use some of them, and we would play some of those, and then we would go into another movie or something else that we've created. There are a lot of other things we've created, and they're only shorts, and they're more related towards the college at the time. Like, we talked about the president of the college, and we talked about people that we would, be in our media house. And we did a short about throwing knives into a door one day, and somebody opens it up and gets them in the throat. That's
Whatever. That's what, it was just it was content. And
anything we thought of that day, we created it, edited it, and ran it. I mean, that's basically what it was, And for the life of me, we do not know where we used to put everything onto VHS tapes in our studio.
Yeah.
And when everybody graduated, all tapes started to disappear, and some of them we don't have. Like we had a toga party. I can't find anything from the toga party, because we used to play it on our air. Like I said, I used to record parties. People would watch themselves being
right. And now you do it with this. That's the thing. And I guarantee you, 99% of the people who do it like this wouldn't put up with it the way we had to do it because of the technology limitation. I guarantee you that.
But you're right, Mark. It's the same thing as using your phone, at the party, but we would do it for hours, and that's how, if you see in the Killer Refrigerator original movie, Scott Parent calls it the Killer Refrigerator because that's what we called it, even before the movie was made. When we had it in Bumper Land, we called it. I mean, we used to do crazy things. We had this humongous 3 that was left to us by another class, as we came in. So that we acquired all of their things. So they made this big 3, and they used to carry it around campus. Well, we used to hang it from various places in campus. We'd throw it off a building with a noose, and it would just hang there. And,
it was like a tag you could remove.
Yeah. You're watching Channel 3,
That's how it started. You hear of SCTV, not that we're comparing ourselves to SCTV or the Canadian, how everybody started, and like that whole group of people that went through that program and others like it, that this was our indoctrination to something like that, but we created everything that we did because we just wanted to, that creativity.
Well, we had no budget too.
Oh yeah,
and we had to create it. Either that, you're going to watch the Police in concert tape 15 times in a row because that's all we would have.
Which was a great concert tape.
It was a great show. We had a chance
Police around the world.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it was Duran's that Hungry Like the Rio. What was it? Rio? What
Rio.
Was that?
Rio. Hungry Like the Wolf. Rio, all of that.
Yeah.
Troy could sing it for us, but I won't put him
no, don't do that.
Did you guys go to any of the festival screenings of the documentary for Snap?
Yeah. We went to which one did we go to, Mark? The one in South Sturbridge.
That one, Sturbridge.
Oh.
Also Salem. Went out to
Mark
Salem
went
for
to
that.
Salem. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were not feeling good that night.
No, I was.
We went to the one in Sturbridge. Yeah, we went to Salem. It's too bad because that came out at a time when COVID was still kind of raging a little. Not really raging, but
Yeah.
everybody had their own rules and regulations. So, but it did very well in the festival circuits. It was all over the place. John got it into a lot of places, and it ended up wrapping up in Australia. And then came back to the States for one last showing in I believe it was San Francisco, but now it's coming back out on its third pressing of VHS. So it's already gone through two pressings on VHS. Now it's coming out with its third pressing, and that's done through Josh Schaefer's company, Lunch Meat, who I actually just talked to Josh today, or texted with him, I should say. So we're in touch all the time. But they're going to do a third pressing of Snapper on VHS, and the first two runs sold out pretty quick. So they're going to do a third, and I think this will be the final.
No, well, that's pretty cool though. So you did you when he came up to you about doing Snapper? Did you know him at all, or was that the first time you met him?
That's the first time we met him. He was actually interviewing Michael and I for a piece on Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. He's gonna write a story for us because he was contributing to a horror magazine. I believe it was a UK based publication. And then it might have been Scream. Yeah, it was pretty big. John's all over the place in this world, and he does a great job. And we're lucky to have John because all the work he's doing right now and piecing together these stories with people like who are in Jaws. Well, David Bigelow, who works right alongside John, was of course in Jaws the movie as a child, which I thought was very cool. But and David always says so that meant that they had to be friends because Jaws is everything to John. Yeah. But for him to take the time and to get out there and interview people who are associated with these various productions that he's doing documentaries on is historically significant because you know what? We're not all going to be around, 40, 50 years. You know what I mean? So him documenting that now has a huge, huge impact on the genre, on filmmaking alone, and on storytelling overall. So we love John, but we did not know. We kind of knew who he was. We had a little. I think didn't Michael? He got in touch with us once. He wanted to do an Attack of the Killer Refrigerator VHS release.
Yes. Yeah, and that's how it started. He found like 10 tapes that were color.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Can we do a small run?" And we were like, for me to pull together all the information and everything, I was like, "Oh, we weren't ready." Like I said, we went through so many people contacting us to do distribution deals, and we already got burned the first time, and we just didn't want to. I don't know. We should have probably let it out more, but I guess that made the price of the VHS go up a little bit more to where it was.
Which ironically, over $2,000 for a copy of the original Donna Michelle, if you could find it. It's sold for $2,277, I think, is the highest we've ever seen. And that's not what they were asking. That's what it sold for.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be laid down over $2,000 for it. VHS is huge, just like
if you
vinyl
find enough
is.
Copies in your basement, you can fund.
Yeah, well, I wish I did. We gave Mark and I had cases. We had cases of them, and we gave them away we gave them to the crew. We gave them to people that were in it. Right. Here's your couple. Here's this. Here's that. We have a bunch of extra boxes that are pristine. So from the time, the slip covers. But I don't have tapes at all. But Snapper, when I met John, it was all about the Killer Fridge. And then Mark talked about some of the other things that we worked on. And he mentioned this Killer Snapping Turtle movie. And John's ears just kind of went, what? And because he liked the concept. And then we sent him the script and he read the script. He was like, wow, this is great. I want to do a story. What do you got for footage? And, when he was going through it, I was like, where's the drama? Where's the, we died, we're still here. Yes, it's a failed movie, but it in many respects, it brought more life to it. And there have been discussions about shooting it with one distributor, but they wanted us to be faithful to our vision and shoot it on film. And the budget just wasn't going to accommodate that, between shooting it on film today with some special effects of a turtle, a bunch of cast, some stunts, definitely, a lot of blood and gut scenes. Of course, there's a lot of that in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But we have all the stuff. I did all the location. When it was funny because when the documentary came out, we were feeling, wow, maybe we'll get the opportunity to get somebody to fund this project. So I picked out all the locations. All the locations are selected. There's actually a multi-1,000-gallon tank facility in my town where they do experiments on water movement and water itself. So, and I've shot videos there, and these tanks are like 40 by 20 by 20. So they're 20 feet deep, 20 wide, or 40 wide, 20, it's amazing. Yeah. And so I have those areas for underwater shots. And so it's funny how we kick into gear when you think you can do it. I have the budget all done. Budget's done. I don't think we have a shooting schedule, but that one's relatively easy. Even though there's a few more, it's all location based, but it's easier. There's not a lot of a killer fridge moving around,
Yeah, those practical effects can be expensive, just some of the time it takes to set everything up, and but we love the stories, and we're not letting that limit our imagination. I mean, I don't think we've ever said, unless we came back and restarted polishing a script, saying, let's not put that in there right now, because we always put it in and then we'll take it out as it comes. But Snapper's a really cool little story. It's fun. Our thing is, like, you go to the movies to escape everything that's bombarding you every day, or negative. Now you're supposed to go to the movies to have fun and escape from the day-to-day doldrums that we all go through. Not that it's, we're all depressed every day or anything, but you know what I mean. We're supposed to, it's an escapism, and that's kind of the stuff we want to write. We want to.
That's the most fun movies to watch with an audience is horror
Without
movies,
a doubt.
comedy, because you can kind of interact with each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to sit around and just cry with everybody.
No, and we were thinking,
that's a little bit of a downer, I think.
It's definitely done. And within that script, we even have some cast thought about, like, we have this, crooked mayor, and we were thinking, Bruce Campbell would be a great mayor.
Oh, rock on.
Oh yeah, and who else were we thinking, Marcus, for some of those roles? We had a couple other people.
Well, we still want to work with Linnea somehow. We'd love to work with Linnea quickly.
Yeah.
We could put her in the Killer Fridge.
Linnea will be on the show next week. So
well, you tell her we want her in the Killer Fridge too.
We'll do it.
Because that one, definitely, we have a role for her. It's not, it's not even a day. I think it's a day shoot for her, but because there's not many adults in the Killer
There's only
Fridge.
3 adults in the movie.
Well,
like
no,
everybody else is a high school kid, seniors on down, and she would, we've been, I follow her online on Twitter and stuff, and she was there, and we actually, Michael, I think defrosted. Do we have that footage of Vegas?
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, she's in there. She's got like all kinds of Killer Fridge stickers on her.
Yeah,
nice.
It's in the Frosted documentary. There's a shot. I think it comes from Michael Scholl over to her, and off the fridge. They did a nice job. They got an actual. I don't know if it was a GE fridge, but it looked pretty close.
Oh, it was pretty close. We give a lot of credit to Michael Scholl, because without that whole deal, we don't talk about this now. I mean, it would have stopped, right? So
he was the only one that took it out of all of them.
I know.
I went to every booth, all the biggie. I started at the big guys and kept working down, and I ran into Michael, and there it was. Okay, let's do it.
And I really like the Scott Andrews stuff in the Snapper documentary. His turtle stuff was great, and it's a little sad that he kind of left movies, but he did well for himself, outside doing Spooky World and making.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he's
Scott.
very
At the time, Scott was a great find because, this is before the internet, and this is before even where do you go to find a person like that? He kind of reached out to us, which was great, and that's how it all started. I went to his shop, I looked at it, I was blown away by his talents. I mean, he is a incredible sculptor, and back in the day, he used to have these little figures. I'd walk in and see what he'd be working on, and it'd be this, horror 8-inch figure of some crazy character from a movie, and he just was very talented. So for him to lend his talents to us, because again, there wasn't a lot of money to be spent. There was money spent, but there wasn't a lot of it. So he did give us a lot of his time and his energies and his commitment to the project, and he just pulled together this incredible stuff. I still have a little foam rubber turtle that's about 20 inches long that we used in the movie. Of course, he pulled out many foams.
Yeah,
And then Mark we have a few of these small ones that we use for motion. But Scott is still, he made us we have, we're hopefully going to come out with, well, he made us, Mark and I, we have 3, I think they're 6-inch fridges from the Attack of the Killer Refrigerator 2 models with teeth. The doors open, closes. There's some details inside of some racks, I believe, with an ice box. He painted it all up. It's got the logo on the back already, like embroidered in. It's very nicely done. We reordered 3 of them to start right now, just so we can have them, because they're not cheap. That's the thing. These things are not like, I thought I was going to get them away for 58 cents a piece, and that was, it's triple, way more. But they're very cool. They're about 6 inches, so we're looking forward to getting those. It'd be a nice little collectible. I mean, just in the merchandising alone of a Killer Refrigerator 2, it could be fun.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And then you can't forget, it's kind of gone on. There's a band out in Ohio called Killer Refrigerator. They were actually in the.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they speed metal guitarists.
Okay.
And they themselves after the VHS. Yeah, they actually
are the theme music for the Defrosted, the opening music and the closing music.
For Defrosted,
that's Killer Refrigerators.
And it's so cool.
Music, because I saw you guys had a lot of like cool musicians, in your movies. Like, how did you go about at that time, finding people to do music for your movies? Because, like I said, it's before the internet.
With the recordings, we went from ping-ponging separate channels of records being spun backwards through a open reel deck to actually going to real recording studios after that for the hooks. That's where it really started. There was a recording studio in downtown Worcester called Lyx, Lyx, and we said, hey, listen, we need some music. We knew a band called the Heartbeats who did the theme song for the hook, and then Jeffrey Mayhew who did the score, and we have another friend of ours his name is Mark Donnie, or we call him Stig. We all went to school with Stig, and he went on to become quite a guitar tech. He worked for Pat Benatar, Neil Giraldo, and he's on tour with Heart and whatever. But he's a guitar tech. He did the closing credits, so we were very lucky. Where we're from, Worcester, Massachusetts, is a hotbed of musicians. Joe Cocker's band came from here. Joe Cocker, who played, you know what I mean? So we were very lucky to be involved with that community. And there was a guy named Rod Libby who was Joe Cocker's sound man, and he helped us produce this band for an original song, which got airplay on the regional rock station WAAF at the time. And I was working there at the time too, so that kind of helped a little bit. But it wasn't, I just presented it. They all agreed to go along with it. So we were very lucky. It's an incredible area for musicians and people that have that talent, either recording. And back then, big 24-track open reel, 2-inch, boom, flying over 30 IPS on the open reel. Not like it is today with, any of the stuff that we're using.
Well, Pro Tools, actually, there's a scene, if you watch Days Before Christmas behind the scene, you'll see my look of utter frustration because Lick sent in this guy that was going to run this computer program called Pro Tools, and he certainly didn't know what he was doing because we got zero done. Yeah, we sat there and stared at the computer, and he clicked and he clicked and clicked, and it was a Mac too, and it was just we ended up going back to just doing it live and analog, and that was for doing footsteps, because film has no sound, so all of those sounds and Days Before Christmas we had to put in. But in terms of the musicians and stuff, Mark was a roadie for the Heartbeats for quite a while he was in college. He used to carry their gear, set it up, be the roadie guy. And so we've all had friends with him. I did a documentary on the Heartbeats when I got into first producing programming for the local cable channel. I sort of had carte blanche, and whatever I felt like doing, I did. So I would produce all kinds of different things about music, and I did a ski show because I like skiing, and I did a beach show because I like going to the beach, So anything that I felt like doing at the time was really a great way to start my career. I just sort of did. So I used the Heartbeats a lot in different things. We would record bands in the time, but so having that key Hooked on You song, and today it gets a lot of great hits on YouTube, still does. It's still a great little tune. Right, and then having that in, and then Licks donated a song from Steve Stone. I can't Terror in the Streets, which is really good. That was from their library. And then, as Mark was saying, Jeff Mayhew, who was a guy I met through I'm trying to think how far back. I think it was back at school, and he came around during the Hook time, and he had a MIDI synthesizer. This is way back in early MIDI, and he, I kind of pressured him to create the soundtrack, and he did a great job using all the MIDI synthesizers, which back in the day, again, was very early to trigger things. And so he created all of the little underscore, which there were a lot of great movements. We would develop Hook. Anytime the Hook was in there, he had his music, and we had the fake Hook music. Much like Jaws, because we learned a lot during college about using music to enhance different characters, and so every character had their little bit of music. And Jeff did a great job of taking whatever conversations we would have and putting it down and producing, I think, a pretty cool little soundtrack. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have him mix the Killer Fridge 2. He doesn't know it yet, but I have him on the budget to mix the Killer Fridge 2. I'm not going to give him the task of writing music. I have another guy I love. He's an old friend. I would love to get him to write the music. His name's Johnny Swihart. He goes back to many of my corporate projects. I've hired him to write corporate projects, and this is a gentleman who was involved in the early Blue Man Group, the creation of the music. He wrote so many movies. He wrote a Hope and Faith theme song, remember, with Kelly Ripa? She had a little brief TV show. He wrote all the music for that. He is amazing talent. He was on tour. The last time I spoke to him, I heard him on the Howard Stern show with David Hasselhoff. He was playing guitar. They said, "Oh yeah, my buddy here, Johnny. He does, And so I texted him and, what's going on? I heard you on Howard." So it's fun, and he's been a long time friend. Back in my early career when I was a producer for a production company, I got all these cool projects to produce, and it was. So I met a lot of cool people. I have a great colorist through that connections as well, who's already reached out and said, "I'll color your movie." I'm like, okay, cool, So I have all these people in place. It's a matter of getting the budget to do the shooting, and we have the locations. Our cast is semi-selected. We were still looking for that star factor, but we definitely know who we want to get, in our cast. And
like I said, Linnea was.
Linnea is definitely one. We have a local. You must know Ernie Bach Jr., right?
Oh yeah,
Ernie Bach Jr. We have a role for him.
Nice.
I've reached out to his people, but they just don't respond. It's crazy.
He'll probably want to play guitar somewhere too.
Well, there won't be any guitar, but we can put a Savino in it.
Okay, all right.
Hey, you know what? He could put a guitar case in, Marcus. We could give him we'll have him whip out his Martin D whatever, D10 or whatever the number is, put it in, some rare guitar that because he's a guitar collector.
Yep.
But the character itself is very unique and very corny and funky, and that all rolled in. And Linnea would play his wife at that point, and she would be perfect for this role.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's only a 1-day shoot for her, so it's not a lot of time, but it's definitely part of the story. You know?
She was just in Massachusetts, I think, last week for the Salem Festival, Salem Horror Festival.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I also tell the people in our movie, you know, being a benefit of being an Attack of the Killer Refrigerator 2, you have that lifetime appearance at horror conventions, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So every summer,
Very
you know,
true.
if you're a star, you could be on tour, so to say.
Yeah,
You know,
find little mini refrigerators and
Yeah, and so that's, you know, to sign your picture, you know, while you're young, and you know, do it up until you're 80.
Yep.
You know, I mean, people would
I
love
saw
it.
your roster of people that you had in the
Oh
opening
my
there.
gosh!
Like,
Holy
geez.
no. At the
Yeah,
beginning,
it kind of freaks us out sometimes when we look at that.
yeah,
Like,
when I see
wow.
my own,
freaks
Yeah.
me out. How do you get in contact with some of these people? You know?
I remember the
yeah,
first
well,
show, Sid
most of them,
Haig. I
yeah.
think I was terrified. Like,
yeah, our very first.
I didn't
guest
know
was
what
Sid
to
Haig on
say.
the first
Yeah.
show, which is very cool. But kind of like
Well,
we were
we're
saying
honored.
about John, when I, you know, as I get older, it's cool to think about some of the people that we have had on, and you know, that aren't here anymore, and you know, we have
Oh, yeah.
something with them, you know, an interview that people can listen to for, you know, for hopefully the rest of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because you
Wait a minute.
archive all your own stuff anyway, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, there you go. So you're documenting it, and then you're putting it into a place where people are able to access it. And it's really, I mean, you know, like we always say, you know, we didn't come up with this concept, but we always try and preach it that, you know, filmmaking is a lot like music. You know, music, what does it do? It evokes emotion and inspires. It's the same thing for any art, but filmmaking especially as well. So, you know, when you hear like, oh, you're really inspiring a lot of filmmakers if they watch the documentary or if they watch any of the things that we've done. And we're glad if that's a result of it. Obviously, I mean, it's a big community. Everybody wants to be in it and do their best. And if that's the case, and we can inspire somebody, or we're inspired every day by somebody, you know, we're inspired from being on your show. That people still want to have the interest in talking to us about this project and the projects that we're going to be doing in the future.
A lot of independent filmmakers that I know who didn't go to film school, a lot of the information they got is watching documentaries on DVDs and Blu-rays, and also the commentary tracks.
Yeah.
That's probably a great
being
idea.
done by the people who did it, you know. And Snapper, we couldn't put any of Scott Andrews' creations in the water because they were foam and they would sink and become extremely hard, right? So that's why we had to think of a workaround. So we piled into Michael's apartment when he had his own apartment at this time in Webster. We smoked the room out and put tin foil and flashed a light on it, and it does kind of look like it's underwater, you know. So,
yeah.
You know, working different. A lot of people like that scene. That's why I bring it up. It's like, oh, I can't believe you guys did that. Well, we didn't have a choice, you know, really.
Well, I liked in the documentary when you're talking about like the effects in Refrigerator, like you guys really didn't know how to do them, like, so you just kind of made them up as you were going along.
Yeah. Well,
oh yeah,
exactly. There was no Google.
Tom Savini, when we had Tom Savini on, he said that was his most fun was early in his career, you know, creating the ways to do these things, as opposed to after a while, everyone, you know, has an idea of how to do certain things.
And we had no knowledge of doing any kind of prosthetic molding or anything. I mean,
paper mache.
You look how we made the the hook hand.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, paper mache and cardboard. You know what I mean? And a tube going down the middle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a lot of sandwich bags. I thought that was fun.
The sandwich bags, and they're, you know, they held up a lot more than you would think. You know, slamming in the fridge. Yeah. You know, but we did come up with the angles, the editing helped. You know, ragu spaghetti sauce, that definitely helped.
Yes, it did.
And that was our special effects at the time. And then the caro syrup was used in the mouth. Anytime they put it in their mouth, and Chris was famous. We showed a few scenes where she almost fell out of the fridge, and she's got a whole mouthful of caro syrup, which I just couldn't do, you know. But she was a trooper, you know. We were on a podcast, so I listened to a podcast, and the guy kept saying, no matter what, the towel did not fall down. Okay, she's getting eaten by the fridge. She's getting pushed by the fridge. The towel does not fall down, and I couldn't help but stop laugh. I couldn't stop laughing
No.
because we made it for a college audience. We made it to be shown to our friends and family. So
Right.
and there was. The craziest we got was Mark's bum, and that's as nude as I wanted it to go. He wanted to get nude. She was all ready to. Chris said to me, "I'll do a nude scene." I'm like, "No way, do I want to be responsible for that?"
Yeah.
And it was early. Again, we were college students. I knew it was going to run on the moat because that was the plan, and the moat was the bar. And Mark's butt we could get by. But having full,
Others
female nudity was, and Chris was our roommate. She lived with us, so it was one of those things where, no, sorry, Chris, not today.
Yeah. So what were the reactions from your friends at the time when they saw the finished movie?
Oh, they laughed.
Mark's butt came out. He got a standing ovation.
More than once.
And it was, they liked it. I mean, one, we knew everybody that was in it. And that's, again, it was live and die at Worcester State College. That was the plan. It wasn't supposed to go anywhere. So, we had all our friends and, the party scene, everybody loved this. Back in those days, seeing yourself on a TV was different. It wasn't like it is today where it's ubiquitous. You see yourself on the screen 50 times in a day. Back then, to see yourself on TV, holy smoke!
Even at that level,
I remember when we used to have a camera, we could get in anywhere. You walk in with a camera, you're in. What do you need, sir? What's this? Oh, it was like, they treated you like royalty. Even police, right, Mark?
All the time, yeah. We've done a few. Michael was talking about those beach shows. I hosted it. I co-hosted it, and you take a camera anywhere. We took it to a racetrack up in Seabrook, New Hampshire, and we were supposed to highlight their place. And they said, you can't shoot here, but listen, we're going to take care of you. It was
$100 a piece to gamble and anything you want in the restaurant.
The bar, it's yours, and don't worry about a tab and whatever you want to eat. You come over here, you have a problem. All because we were there to do a documentary or highlight their place for this half-hour, show that we were showing in the area. So we
took advantage of that too.
We sure did.
I got a lot of it.
We never abused it, but we took advantage of it.
Yep.
I did. We got free hotels, free meals, you name it.
Nothing wrong with that.
You mentioned you were from a TV crew back in those days, and you were like, "Oh, really? Okay, great. How can we help you?" Now, forget it. Everybody and their brother has a phone. They're not going to give you a free room and hotel and $6,000 worth of ski gear.
They actually probably want you to leave.
Hey, you know what?
Don't shoot here. Yeah.
We were the original influencers. We were influencing ourselves, is what it turned out to be.
But we did. We need these shows, and I did a ski show once. I went to the local ski guy. I said, "Hey, can you outfit us with ski outfits?" He's like, "Sure." Went down there. The bill added up to like $6,000. He's like, "See you later." I'm like, "Okay." It's not like the lady at hit the car running.
A different time period. And I know it was a long time ago, but it wasn't a long time ago if you put it all into context, So that's how fast it's gone by. But, I'm glad that we were able to, live in that time, live in this time and had that experience back, because it really makes you appreciate what you have now as far as technology goes, especially. But back then, no Google, no internet, no cell phones, that's the way it was.
We had actually the first Avid at an event that Mark and I produced called the Film Video Talent Showcase, because Avid was nearby us, and they literally had the first time it was displayed at a show was at our event, and the picture was 320 by 180, and that's all they could edit it on. and the lady was giving demonstrations. I was blown away. It was pretty cool back in the day then, and now we can edit on our phones, and it was fun to go through the transition of watching that technology too. I mean, let's look at the Killer Fridge trailer, that you just showed a little while ago. I mean, that was all done in Final Cut Pro. All the effects, we shot it on a 5K camera. There's a lot of fun stuff that we can do, and I didn't even composite. I don't think there's one composite in it. So
No.
I didn't do any type of compositing, which we would definitely do on our Killer Fridge 2.
That was actually shot in the house that we wrote the screenplay in.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mark used to own this house.
Yeah.
And it's the third most haunted house in the country or in Massachusetts.
Well, it vies for the Lizzie Borden house. I was on Ghost Hunters. I did Ghost Hunters, and Zach Baggins has been there, and I worked with the BBC on a project. There's another film that I actually host and narrate called 14 Degrees, the number 14 Degrees. It's a paranormal documentary. I was up there for a while and moved in 2000, and then the haunting started and everything else. But we wrote the screenplay there, which was something because we already had the location, that's where we're going to shoot a lot of it, and we still are in touch with the people who own it now. I had an ex-wife attached to that. That's why I'm no longer there. Well, not because I wanted to move out, or the ghost pushed me out. That was not the case. But Michael and I would write in that house all the time. And it's a big old Victorian mansion, and it's got a reputation. It's the S.K. Pierce, Pierce mansion in South Gardner, Mass. So that's where the story takes place.
Mm-hmm.
The whole story, outside of a couple of other exterior scenes in a classroom. Other than that, it's all there.
I assume both of you were horror fans or are horror fans.
Mm-hmm.
So, what were some of the horror movies that you watched that made you like, hey, we would like to make our own sometime?
Oh,
Jaws.
Jaws, all right.
Although Michael has a great story about a film called Mark of the Devil, which
The devil.
that they were giving out barf bags when you went to see that one, literally. And actually, John sent Michael one. John had come across one recently, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, he sent me one in the mail. It's an actual barf bag from the 70s when they handed them out to you. We put them on our heads. But the whole trick to the movie was they were extracting a woman's tongue. It goes back to the medieval times when people would do crazy things. So they would, torture you to death for possibly being a witch. Well, their whole claim to fame was they pulled out this lady's tongue, and that gave us a bunch of nightmares. And what warmed it up was Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
So it was one of those Night of the Living Dead, Mark of the Devil. So it was a two-banger that really sent a bunch of I was probably in 5th grade at the time into craziness. Every kid had nightmares, especially when the tongue pulled out. But I watched a movie not long ago, well, a bunch of years ago when John was talking about it. I rewatched it. It is the fakest shot I've ever seen in my life. How bad it was. Okay. But in my mind as a kid, it was like, oh my God. And I think it was just because when they pulled out the tongue, they cut away and, they pulled out the tongue. It had a big, long root on it. And that visual always stuck with me. And for years, I was like, oh, it's a big root. And then watching The Handmaid's Tale, and they rip out girls' tongues and that too. Oh God. I'm like, that's crazy.
You like that? The other films too. I love Friday the 13th, and all that stuff. That was all fun. Halloween. But there's another film that really kind of had an impact on us too. Was a Maximum Overdrive when the trucks came to life.
That was a good one. Yeah,
that was a great one.
Evil Dead. I mean, I worked in a video store, and the rule at the store was you can rent out as many movies as you want, as long as you bring them back the next day. So I would literally come home with a stack of movies. Mark and I would sit in our apartment and literally watched. I mean, we've seen it, and then I would bring it back the next day if we wanted to see it again. I'd just re-rent it out,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and so we had an endless supply. Plus, no, it wasn't then, but at the time, I work at the cable company too. I didn't, but when I worked at the cable company, we had free cable with like every box.
Everything.
Oh,
With
okay.
everything, with every box. I had like 4 boxes, so we had everybody in a box, and it was loaded. We had every channel, and I had no cable bill up until I think 2000 from the 80s, because either I worked there and then my wife, where I met her there at cable.
Yes.
I did the bad thing. But it was fun. It was a good time, you know. But I liked the Evil Dead series. I loved the Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead is pretty bad. I hate to say it. You know, I know it's just a spin-off, but I did love Dawn of the Dead. What were the other ones that were?
We were big into Hitchcock too.
The Hitchcock
as well. The Rear
Hitchcock
Window.
Rear Window, I love. Yeah, I rewatched The Birds recently, and I was very disappointed with the ending of The Birds, as they just drive off, and there was really no resolution to what was going on. Kind of a bizarre ending for me. But there was a lot of. I liked the Midnight Meat Train. That was I don't know if you saw that one. That's great.
Yeah,
love that one. I liked
Clive Barker short stories.
Oh, I loved it. And then what was the other one? Mark, there was 2 of them about the guy in the cornfield that every year comes around.
The corn?
No, it's where he takes apart the bus and Jeepers Creepers. Oh my gosh, that's great. I love those. They did a wonderful job with that, you know.
And we got respect for things like Chucky, you know, that's cool. Take a doll like that. The Annabelle stuff is all you got to give respect up to it. And then you can start getting down to Paranormal Activity and how those projects came together, which is an amazing story in and of itself, and the money they made at the box office. So, yeah, you know why we like the scary stuff? Because it just kind of, you know, gets that adrenaline flowing, you know, and also, too, it's like it does bring out the kid in you. You know, how many times as a kid did you have like, oh, I'm going to make a haunted house for this Halloween, or I'm going to charge my friends 25 cents to come through it. I have a garter snake in a jar, you know, that type of stuff. It's like it brings back that adrenaline rush, and I don't think there's another genre that really does it like that. I can't, you know, I love all the other genres. I love filmmaking as a whole, but I can't think of another genre that gets you moving like that. You know, you know, whether it be a jump scare or something else within that scene that really. You're talking about it just seems people talk more about the horror movies and that genre.
Movies stay around because, like, I like to watch old Siskel and Eberts, and there'll be movies on there that were even up for awards and stuff, and I'll be like, man, I don't even know this movie, or like I totally forgot about it. Like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that movie. But there'll be really low budget horror movies and stuff that keep finding new audiences and around for decades.
Oh yeah, no, a lot of that's. It's it is, you know, it's even the Killer Refrigerator finds a new audience. That's what sort of keeps it around.
There's not rom-com conventions all over the country.
No.
And, you know.
Right. You know what? It's funny you say that, Neil, because I just said that I'm involved with a writers group out in Los Angeles. We meet every month via Zoom or whatever. And I did bring that up to him. I said, you know, I know you guys love your rom-coms and stuff, but there's not like a, you know, you got Rock and Shock. You don't have ramen.
Yeah, exactly.
Festival, you know. But I'm nothing against the genre. Nothing against any genre. Nothing against any filmmaker, because I know, and Michael knows, and you guys certainly know how hard it is to pull it off. And you can't have anything but the utmost respect for people trying to tell their stories in this medium. No matter what you're using to shoot on at this point, you know.
Right.
Because Paranormal Activity certainly went up, you know, and proved that you could do it like that.
Oh yeah,
and send it out, and then you go back to the found tape movies, you know, Blair Witch and all that stuff too. Very creative stuff. So we love all of that. The Conjuring series, I love. I kind of lean on the paranormal side sometimes, but as far as this Attack of the Killer Refrigerator, it's practical effects with a little CGI, salt and pepper on the top. And that's the way it's got to be done, because that's, I think when you do it like that, you get more respect for doing it like that. I can't stand CG. CGI. I can, but I can't when the whole world is that, and that's all you're seeing, because it detracts from the product. And I don't care how good computers are, you can still tell it's CGI. So, we love the practical effects and use CGI and embrace the new technology where warranted within the story and within the scenes.
Yeah. All right. So so where can people? What's your website? You got a couple websites, right? You have MediaHouseFilms.com and
Attack of the Killer Refrigerator 2.com, Attack of the Killer Refrigerator.com. So, but MediaHouseFilms.com, I think they all point there. They may go to different pages, but you can find us at MediaHouseFilms.com. Yeah.
And the Blu-ray right now, and it's under 700. I think we're getting down to the mid 600s left out of 2,000 of the original slipcover versions of the Blu-ray. You get that at terror-vision.com. So terror- and then vision.com, and you'll see us. But Linnea is dominating that page. Our horror workout just came out through Terror Vision. So she's up there. She's got quite a few things happening on that. But it'll be interesting. If you mention that, to her next week. We've been trying to get in touch with her. Yeah, see if we can facilitate a little hello with her at some point.
Yeah, no, we know her a little fairly well. She's very cool. And very
that would be good. It would be great to have her, see what her. And then Danny, who's the other one?
The 3 adult roles, and the only 3 adult roles in Attack of the Killer Refrigerator 2, and we were thinking of her as that one of those roles.
Yeah,
that's
Well, it's been very fun to meet you both.
You too.
Yeah, super
Neil
nice.
And Troy, this has been great. This has been awesome. We really appreciate it. We'll stay in touch. We'll keep you updated on everything we're doing. And we love this. And there's no other community like the horror movie community, whether or not you're hosting a podcast or you're doing something else within that genre of filmmaking. It's great. It's a great community. I can't think of another that I'd rather be a part of.
I agree. Very good. All right, thanks.
All right,
Mike.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Talk to you next time. Too. Let's get it made.
Yes.
Yeah,
and come on back. We'll talk about it next time.
Anytime, Troy. Anytime.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much.
Soon, and we're going to bring our next guest on here momentarily. Let's do it right now. I think.
That's what you think.
I'm going to hit the button here. Hello, now
hey,
welcome.
Hello. Joined by Berkley
I need a better
Brady.
name, like Badass Berkley.
All right.
I like this.
That'll
Badass
work.
Berkley. That works.
Yep.
And the
Blood
Berkley
spattered Berkeley. Something.
All right, very good.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yep.
Berkley Brady. Now, your film Dark Nature is coming out May 19th to the theaters.
Finally, yes, May 19th. It's we premiered last summer at Fantasia. So now May 19th, finally I can pass it along to all those friends who are like, where can I see it? It's like, you can see it literally everywhere. It's going to be everywhere, all the streaming services and a lot of theaters. So
yeah. And that's now obviously it's great to watch movies at home or not so much on your phone. I would not recommend that. But if you can, it's always best to watch a movie on the big screen.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Yeah, you need the big screen.
It's so different. It's so different. And watching it through the festival circuit on a big screen, it's like this. It's almost a shame to see. Just don't watch this movie on your phone. If you're going to watch it on your phone, just please don't, because so much is about the landscape and these epic shots that we really hustled to get. And I think when you see it on the big screen, you just let it wash over you. It's just like you just kind of it just takes you to that place. And you can only get that on the big screen.
Yeah. Now I unfortunately did see it on the small screen for the interview, but I'm looking forward to seeing it on the big screen because exactly what you said in my notes. I wrote the landscapes, like you said. I think it's definitely something that would look good. It's like an epic visually, and also I think something that people overlook when they talk about the big screen is also the sound, because you feel the sound when you're in the theater.
So true.
So true.
And it's there. You can't. I guess you could be annoying and start playing on your phone, but it's there, and you're not going to escape the movie.
No, exactly. And you have. It's like I heard a filmmaker talk, and she was like, I think of the theater almost like a pool of sound. So like, what's at the front of the pool? What's at the back? And those sounds, like that you're in it. It's not coming just at you from this one source. Things are moving. And I think for this film particularly, we're just so lucky that we had the sound designers we had and the composers we had, because the sound is really just like pretty epic. Yeah. And I didn't do that. That's them. So I'm not like tooting my own horn here.
Well, you're allowed to. So I guess we should ask, for people not aware yet, can you give them an idea of what Dark Nature is about?
Dark Nature is about, to me, it's really about friendship, really at its core. But the plot and the sort of one paragraph synopsis is it's about a woman named Joy who's trying to get over a really bad relationship. And so her best friend convinces her to go on a weekend retreat with a bunch of other ladies, like a therapy retreat. Just one weekend, let's go deal with our issues, hike it out. And they do not get to deal with their trauma as much as get more.
And the movie's kind of bookended with trauma and violence, and so you see right away what kind of relationships she's in, and then it's a different type of trauma near the end of the movie. Was that done, I guess, on purpose to kind of have the one at the beginning, one at the end, and to show what she's what kind of relationship she's in right to begin with, as to like kind of reveal that as it goes on?
Yeah, I think that I wanted it to be something where if you were to watch the movie twice, you could look and be like, oh, that's why she's being this way at that moment. Because it starts with a scene that she's dealing with, of where it was like her boyfriend attacks her. And that's what we think she's dealing with throughout the whole film. And by the end, you realize she is dealing with that, but there's something else that she herself has done that she's also dealing with. So I wanted to bookend it, and also be like, let's explore just both sides of this toxic relationship.
Then you bring that up because there's a point in the movie, and I don't want to give too much away, but where I think the best friend character is actually frustrated, with her, and I think it's also the audience. I think for a lot of people would be kind of agreeing with her at that point, and so I thought it was kind of a realistic look on. I don't want to say everything's not black and white, because obviously no one deserves to be, to be abused or anything. But it's not necessarily that she's blameless in a way.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of complexity in the situation, and I think we're all familiar now with like, what is abuse, what is trauma. It's like, okay, yeah, we've got it. But what are the ripples after that? How does it affect your friendships? Who are you as a person to stay in that relationship? Like, she has to figure out, like, why am I in this relationship? Why, and what part do I play in this? So I think there is gray area that is interesting, and that if we're being honest about who we are as humans, whether you're a man or a woman or any gender that you are, like, you're playing your part, whatever that part is, and it's up to us to be responsible for what we do and what we choose. But also, it's like, she's not the one to throw the first punch. Like, I don't think, like, someone brought violence to her. And so that's something that's just a line that I think, let's not cross. Let's just not be violent. Like, I have a son, he's 13 months old. He's not allowed to just hit.
Well, congratulations on your son, though.
Oh,
yes, that's always good.
Yeah, I was actually pregnant during the shoot.
Oh, really? I assume since you're shooting it in the mountains, that must have been a difficult shoot then.
It was a hard shoot. Yeah. When it ended, I was very happy.
Yeah, for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
So, how about for the actors themselves? I assume, they had to be in good shape, and was there any injuries at all? Even nothing serious, but just being out, out and about.
The only person who got injured really was our stunt coordinator. We were just out in the mountains, so he was just going up a steep hill, like no stunt, and his Achilles snapped.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So he,
that hurts just thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right before we were going up to do the exterior cave stuff, which was harnesses and ropes, and like, we had a whole plan, and he was the leader of that plan. and we lost him the day before that. So that threw us into a sort of chaos for that experience. That was really hard to kind of recover from, but we did. And yeah, I think that was probably the hardest location because it was about a 20-minute hike kind of straight up to this cave that ended with a rope that you hold onto to like cross this treacherous little area. Yeah. But it was this real cave and a real entrance. So when you see them coming into that and crawling, it's like you really were up there. And then we took samples of that rock, and the art director was able to recreate the interior of that cave in a studio. So the end of the shoot was a studio, and I think that was really nice.
Well, it's good that I didn't notice that. It looked like
exactly.
Was, out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
How about finding like the right place to shoot? Was that difficult?
It took a lot of time, but I wouldn't say it was difficult. It was sort of like I'd go on a lot of hikes. I was dancing at just recreational dance at this dance studio called Pulse, amazing studio in Calgary. And one of the young instructors there, I met his dad somehow, and I found out he was this huge outdoorsman. And so I started saying, like, I'm looking for like kind of like a cavern, like it's almost like really narrow and epic. And he's like, oh, let me put that out to my wilderness group. And so then they came back with different locations and ideas, and we just started going to those. And my producer, Michael Peterson, he had some ideas too. So we went to places, but you're always balancing like how far can we leave from the city limits, because asking a lot of people to travel. So people, 45 minutes at 4 a.m. feels a lot different than an hour. Even just that 15 minutes makes a difference, right? And so it was through friends. And then my husband actually suggested and found the water location, which is also where in Predator Prey, she encounters the predator for the first time and gets that bear attack. Same location. Yeah. So we'd actually found that location. Yeah. So we'd found that location thanks to my husband. And I was like, great job. He's a cinematographer. So I was like, all right, I trust you. You know your stuff. You're right. And then I went back on a location scout with one of the department heads, and there was all the Predator Prey people there. And like pre-production, like not pre-production, but they were getting the location ready. So it was none of the actors, they weren't shooting yet. And they had like a hot tub and porta potties. And I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, like, so how do you get these porta potties down here? I want porta potties for my crew. And they're like, oh yeah, the helicopter. They just helicopter them in.
Oh man.
Right. Everyone could do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I got my helicopter on call. Let me just give him a buzz.
Right. We're like barely affording a drone here. So so we did not have that, but it was interesting because they had built like the kind of beaver dam that she hides in. So that was floating, and they had all these anchors that was floating in the middle of the river. Whereas we actually like kind of built up, and with the parks people's permission, built up like a natural log jam, and that's where our characters go in. But the water, we just had so many technical issues, which I think that scene, you do see them, but what can you do? Hopefully it's still scary. And shooting in water is, from experience, and just, of course, it's hard, but I didn't realize how hard. Like, it was really from the actors being cold and only having so many dunks in them, to equipment, to there's a big rock there, and it's so full of iron that some of our best takes that we had, they didn't they weren't captured because the signal was because of the iron in this freaking rock. And you're like,
those are things I'd never even think of. That wouldn't dawn on me.
Yeah, you would. Sound just hard to get. So there's just like little things like that. Or so the blood that we put into the water, it's like they're pumping that blood in the water. It's environmentally sound. Don't worry, we care very much about all that. But pumping it in. But now we've done enough takes, and the water's so cold, it zapped the blood. Now we need more. Oh, but that's a 20-minute hike out to get more. The guy, where's the walkie? Oh, the walkie's not working. It's just like those type of things. That's the reality of shooting on a remote location on a budget.
So, how about casting the movie? Had you worked with any of the cast before?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I'd worked with Helen Belay. I worked with her on a short film called Song of the Dead, which is still not out because long story. But anyway, still working on that one. And I'd worked, and she's from, actually my producer, Mike, had suggested, why don't you make this short with her and see if she's someone you could bring onto the feature, because she's local. And of course we want to develop local talent and, just be working with people who live where we live. And I thought, okay, she's very, very good. Like, I think she's going to be a star. Like, she's really based in theater though. So this was her first feature, and it's a very different style of acting. So I think it was a big learning curve for her. Then with Madison Walsh, who plays Carmen, she had played the character of Louis Riel's wife, Marguerite Riel, in an episode I directed of a TV show called Secret History of the Wild West. And she's Métis, and I was like, she's pretty damn good. This is like, I want to work with someone like her. And she's also a writer as well. Anna, I hadn't worked with. And then Roseanne Superno, who plays Shayna. I'd worked a lot with a good friend of mine, Michelle Thrush. She's an actor who's also in Predator Prey. She plays the mother. She had worked with Roseanne on Blackstone. I don't know if you guys know that show, but
I don't know.
why don't you try Rosie? She's good. And so I talked to her, and she was like, I want to play Joy, like this. I feel this character, but she had a heart condition where she can't go in water.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it was like, at this stage of the script and the process, we can't like ditch the water scene.
Yeah.
Now looking at it all in retrospect, I'm like, we should have ditched that water scene. Yeah.
Well,
And
It's a
then
live and learn kind of moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure, though, I'd say it's live, have I learned? I'll probably do it again.
Yeah.
So this is your first feature film.
Yes.
So, so your first feature movie, and you're doing all these things. You got water scenes. You're out in the mountains. Did anyone say maybe scale this back? Or
Honestly, if they did, I just blocked them out.
well, that's a good way to do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Who did you have doing the effects?
Well, we did a lot of practical. We really aimed to do as much practical as we could. Pretty much everything is practical, actually. So, so that was fun. I would love to keep working in that way and learning more and working with those craft people who are able to do that. Some CGI. It was a CGI house out of Vancouver. Kenji, but I forget the company's name. I'm sorry. So yeah, mostly practical.
Yeah, everything looks good. I won't give too much away of the movie, but some things are very cool looking later on in the film. So.
I hope so. Yeah, we have an amazing Kyra McPherson. She was the head of our makeup and special effects. She's just one of those people who everyone in the industry is like, oh, Kyra, I love her. Like, because I'll give you an example. I was just working on the new Wind River movie. I was shadowing the director, second unit director and the main director. And there's just a cold night shoot. Kyra comes from the makeup department. She was on the shoot for a few days, just with a box of Kleenex, just handing it out to people. Like, because we have runny noses because it's cold and it's late.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, that's the kind of person she is. She's always thinking of like those little things that will help people and that people might need. And so, but she's also just such a horror fan, loves creature design. And she also does the military, when they do training, they'll go into the wild areas and to train, bring in makeup artists and special effects people to make someone look like their intestines got blown out. And then it's for training so someone can find them on the ground. Oh no, your intestines are out. What do I do? But they need to look realistic and be anatomically correct. So she does that as well. So she has this amazing training in wounds, basically. So she brought that to it, and I love that kind of stuff. So that's really cool. And she worked with the costume designer Jennifer Crichton on the feature design. Together, they made that.
Nice.
Well, since you mentioned the creature, was it was the look itself inspired by anything in particular?
Well, I think what's hard is because the movie is like in many ways an homage to the Descent.
Hmm.
I couldn't use their creatures
Sure.
because, and in my
Which, in
mind,
a
it's like
sense,
I want
one of my favorite. I would say
such a
modern. I guess
spooky
maybe
flick.
not necessarily
Yeah.
modern anymore, but one of my favorite of the last couple decades.
right. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. Like everything about it is, yeah. I love that movie. I love that you don't know what you're getting into, and it changes so many
Oh, yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Like what happened with the Descent 2? I'm sorry. What happened with the Descent 2? It's so okay.
It's very typical movie as opposed to the first. Yeah, right.
I guess so, but
Oh.
sometimes sequels are good. But they can't
Yeah,
send
yeah.
her back while she's still like recovering. Anyway, I digress. But so yeah, I felt like because I understood like it was like woman, trauma, forest. There's so many There's a cave. It's like those are like Descent territory that I
Yeah.
was like, okay, anything that the Descent creatures have, I cannot use.
Right.
Like-
I got you. Yeah, you can't be like,
We can't
I'm
have,
just
like,
making
20
my
years.
own Descent. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This a weird question, not about your movie, but about the Descent, because I found this interesting. So, at my local theater, I go to a lot. Coolidge they do Coolidge after midnight. They show midnight movies, and for Halloween, they do a 12-hour movie marathon from midnight till noon the next day. I always go, and they always have a theme. So the last theme it was vampire movies, and so they had the original Dracula and Fright Night and they showed the Descent, and the guy who puts it on, he says, I know people argue that this isn't a vampire movie. And his claim is that it's a vampire movie if you take out the supernatural elements of vampires. And I was like, I don't know if I agree, but I find it very interesting.
Yeah, that's a neat take on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
What do you think?
I'll go with it. It's like a vampire escaped, hid in a cave.
Yeah, they're like real. Maybe like the real vampires, and then people in the past saw them, and then the legend grew from them. I'm not sure what exactly he's. But
I like that.
Either way, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because they can't be in light. They've adapted to the dark.
Mhm.
They eat blood. They look like Nosferatu.
Yeah. Yeah, and you strip the supernatural stuff, the crosses and everything, and no reflection. So it's an interesting concept, I thought.
I like that. I like when people stretch a little and like
Yep.
take that perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
cool.
unique one.
Yeah. So back to Dark Nature. Any animal? Any problems with animals in the wild?
There were, I wouldn't say problems. Okay, there's two things. I always have bears in my movies, like whether it's documentary, shorts. I always have a bear somehow. I've got some bear like spirit energy or something going on. And so when we were working with the formerly known as the Russian arm, now known as the Ukraine. It's the crane on the cars. So when you're doing the car shots, the camera gets attached to this like Ukraine,
Right.
formerly Russian arm. And so when you're driving there, so I'm like in this car, and I would say that's 100% the funnest, best part of the movie for me, and where I was like, I love my job so much. Like driving in this car that's all rigged out inside with monitors and like controls, and these guys that Black House Cinema who do this locally, they're just so fun and so cool. So we're like driving, we've got the picture car behind us with the actors in it. It's all those opening shots of them driving in. So the crane is out following them, and the camera is behind on their car. We're ahead, and there's a black bear as we're driving up. Come over here. There's a big black bear on the road. So I was like, swing it. Can you swing it? Swing it so we can get the bear. This will be so epic. So like, yeah, no problem. So they like swing the camera. So we've got like the characters in the car. Camera swings around to like grab this bear. And the second it was about to see the bear, the card ran out of memory.
Oh no.
Yes. I was like, no. But it was also like, touche, bear, touche. Like, tricks on us. So we didn't get that. We ran off. And then we had a grizzly bear who did come to, like he just kind of came down this big hill. So we had circus with our trailers, and where we were all like, these bears, they can smell. Like if you have a donut they could smell it from 1 kilometer away.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like they're all scent. Like we can't
Yep.
even imagine what they smell.
Yeah, they're
Of
like
course,
dogs. I think they're right up there with dogs as far
Right,
as like the
right.
best sense of smell.
And that makes sense. Their noses look the same as dogs.
Yeah,
Like the same
yeah.
little, like, but they can smell everything. So poor things, they're out there scrounging for like berries and bugs, and we roll in with like ham sandwiches. Of course, they're going to be like, "What's happening over here? Hey guys, hey guys."
Yeah.
And this guy, he came down and was like, "What's going on?" And we were like, "Hey, none of your business. Like, sorry to bother you, but like, you have to leave." But he didn't leave.
Oh.
And that's a little scary. They're not normally like that.
Yeah.
Probably because it is a park, so they're protected. So they're like, I don't know. So we're like honking horns, blasting like the bear horns, honking our
nothing.
car. And he was just like, I think I'm gonna come closer now. And everyone was like, okay, get into the trailers, like regroup. But then it's like, where's Johnny? Johnny is missing. You know, there's like the one guy who's sitting with the equipment in the remote like spot by himself in between us and the bear. It's like, Johnny.
Oh.
But yeah, luckily we did have like safety meetings about that, and we're able to group. And they really don't attack groups, especially groups of adults. I don't know, maybe teenagers. I don't know. But it's very, very rare that they would ever attack a group of more than like 5 people. It's like unheard of. So as long as we're together and like moving in those groups, I do think you're safe. But you know, you don't want to be in that moment where you're
No,
like,
you don't test
Oh
it
yeah.
out. That's-
Don't
not-
test that theory. You know, that's my advice.
right? Yeah. So I'd say those were the 2 sort of big animal experiences.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
so when you premiered at Fantasia Fest, I believe it was
Yeah.
was it Fantasia? Were
Yeah.
you there? Did you get to see it at Fantasia with a crowd, with an audience?
I did.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really cool. So actually my uncle lives in Montreal, and one of my best friends was living there. She just left, but it was such a great time to like Montreal in the summer. So fun, so beautiful. It's just such a
Never been
cool
to Montreal.
city.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I was like, this is amazing. Unfortunately, my husband couldn't come, but I was able to bring my little baby, who at that time, I think he was like 4 months old.
Oh wow.
He was just so cute. We got pictures in front of like the Fantasia posters and things like that. And I found through a friend, a good babysitter for the night of the premiere. So in a way, it was just like, I'm out. Like, I'm not with the baby. Like, whoa, little baby. And it was pretty like a packed screening. Honestly, it's just like, it's so intense after working on it for so long to bring it to an audience. I don't know if I could enjoy it. Like, you know, I was just so on my seat of like, did they laugh there? Were they scared?
Yeah, I think I'd be too nervous for something like that.
Yeah, and the moments I was like, oh, they're not liking this moment. I could tell this. It's like, I should change that. I can't change it. Can I take it? Like, I wish you were allowed to like redo your film after your premiere.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I think like that'd be great. But then it was real. But after it was really cool to see like the people who really it resonated with, and realizing like it's not for everybody, but for the people who like it, like they loved it. So seeing that spectrum was good too. Like this person loved it, this person was like okay, but then just like hearing like why certain people liked it, and that was really, really exciting. Yeah.
Had you gone to festivals before, either with your shorts or just as a moviegoer?
Yeah, as a moviegoer, definitely. I lived in New York for about 6 years. So that was just amazing to be like, oh, you've got like Tribeca, New York Film Fest, just there's like Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, like there's just Bushwick Festival. There's just such an amazing film culture there, and so many cinemas. And filmmakers are just like, because it's New York, they're always just there. So like, oh, so
Oh yeah.
like, yeah, like these crazy people, they're just there like talking. Like Trent Reznor, oh, he came to the screening and he's talking. Like, that's so cool. Like, and I had yeah, so I'd been to a lot of festivals, and I produced a short film that went to a lot of festivals. I didn't get to go to all of them. I went to Sundance. I didn't get to go. But film festivals, if you don't have babies, and or you have a good babysitter, like I just recommend them always to people, and try to emphasize that it's not about seeing a movie. It's like getting into the festival and hanging out meeting people in the lobby, going across, like Fantasia's super casual. So it's like, go across the road. This is the pub where everyone hangs out. And it's very casual. And it's like, it's like the culture of it is really important to me. And it's really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. That was the main thing I missed during COVID was, going to the festivals. And just like you said, I kind of say the same thing to people. It's about obviously watching the movies too, but, and it's for filmmakers. Everyone on any level, they all hang out after. Everyone's pretty much equal after the movie plays.
Yeah, definitely. It really is.
Yeah. And I don't like to make this thing about me, but my first film premiered last August,
Nice.
and so this last year I've been at a lot of festivals with it, and it's been a very very cool experience.
Awesome. Forgive me, I don't know the title of it, but I'm
That's
gonna.
all right. End Zone. It's 2 movies. End Zone 2, which is quote unquote 1970 slasher film that we restored, and
Oh, wow.
the What's the Future Smash, right, is the documentary, another quote unquote, about
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Can you send me a link?
I can work that out. But yeah, they're very fun. And again, it's fun to watch with an audience. And I understand the first time seeing it with an audience, it's a very strange experience. It's not really. I mean, you enjoy it on some level, but it's also more like, I hope people like this. I hope they just.
No, you guys are braver than I am. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I didn't want people walking out was the main thing.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Or you can heckle them if they do.
Yeah, and then they. So we premiered at Fright not Texas Frightmare, Fright Fest in London. And
nice.
they scheduled like an advanced screening of Barbarian right at the end of our movie, and I was like, everyone's gonna go leave and see Barbarian.
Yeah, that's not too cool.
I will be honest, it kind of messed up the Q&A, but it was still a cool experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever talked to anyone at Arbitoire Festival in Wales?
No, I don't think so.
We went there, and honestly, like if you're looking for an excuse to go to Wales and you're a horror fan, just go to that festival. It is like you guys have to go. It's like you can stay in a haunted old like mansion in Wales.
Rock on.
Right? Or an old castle.
Yeah.
People are so cool. It's like in a university cinema, but it's a really nice little cinema. And the people who run it, like they had William Crane from the director of Blackula.
Oh wow!
Oh,
he was there.
It's funny you mentioned that because I actually helped set that up.
You did?
Because I had him on the show. We had him on the show, and I'm kind of friends with him. And they contacted me, and they just to get the contact for him. And so I asked him. I called up William, and anyway, yes, I helped set that up. So it's
oh my god!
Yeah.
I have such a cute picture of him and my baby. I wish I could. I have it on my desk. I can like show it to you after. But yeah, it was just like. I don't know, just I feel like the people who program that festival, they're so smart and they're so awesome. And there's a really good little cafeteria attached to the theater. So all the people who come to see it, and they come from all over like England and Wales, little theater, super small theater, but such good movies. And like people will just kind of camp out and they can like go get this amazing food 20 steps away. I don't know. I would just like, it was really an incredible experience. And they, as hosts, they were so good to us as filmmakers. Like, so they put like William, myself, I was with my producer, my best friend was able to come, my baby. It was this old, like beautiful old, like estate, Welsh estate. Like, they gave me this gorgeous blanket for my baby. Like,
oh, too cool.
So nice, right?
Yeah.
Like, just took really good care of us. And like, I was like, oh, this just feels like, I don't know. Like that was like my pinnacle. Like it wouldn't be to go to a like huge festival and just be like hustling. It was like just this small community.
That's another thing I do bring up.
That sounds great.
Some of the smaller festivals, I don't even say smaller, but especially single screen festivals. There's something about everyone watching all the movies together on one screen, and there's usually a nice community vibe where it's like a lot of the same people come every year. And everyone's supportive. I don't know. There's something about that I like.
And when the hosts know their stuff, like they really do there. Like they have such a good Like there was the whole Blackula, and it was all about like blaxploitation. And there was this amazing through connection with the Bristol Black Horror Club. So they were there and like had this amazing like essays and just like contextualizing these films. And it's like, this is so amazing. Like I'm learning so much and meeting these amazing people. And
So
you
they
get
do
that
their
feeling
homework at
throughout.
this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like other festivals are more like markets. Like you're there to sell. You're there to sell the movie. People are like, who are you? What are you doing? How can we make money off you or not? Whereas this is just for like the love.
Yeah. And Blackula is a genuinely really good movie.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yeah. They showed the second one at the thing I was talking about in the vampire. They didn't show the original one. They showed Blackula, Scream Blackula. I think that's called.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one in a million years.
It's good. It's not as good as
Is
the
it?
original, but yeah, I like it. But this first one's like a very good movie, I think. So, what is Cannes Fantastic 7?
Basically, it's part of the market where they'll take. They go to 7 film festivals around the world, and each film festival picks a genre film that they want to put forward. So we were put forward by TIFF, but there'd be like South by Southwest put someone forward. There's sort of 7 from around the world, and they call them the like Fantastic 7.
Oh.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty exclusive. I like it. Yeah.
Right. And so you go there, and it can be like they'll say, so they'll give a presentation, trailer. So I think we were not finished post-production at that point. We were very close. Like we had final cut, but we hadn't done like color yet and the final sort of touches. So I had literally like just had the baby, so I couldn't go. I was thinking about it. I was like, how old do they have to be to travel? Like, we could do this.
Yeah.
He's sleeping all the time anyway. But no, I guess it would have been too much. And so my producer went, and he gave a little presentation. Then they show a clip, and that's it.
Yeah. And right now, independent horror movies, they have not all of them, but you get you have a shot of getting in theaters now, so it's very cool that you're filming.
That is great
because they do well, and the theaters see they do well, so you get more in there. And I also tell everybody out there, you should support them too. So if you see your theaters having some cool horror movies, go and watch them, because the more people go watch them, the more likely they'll be playing more of them.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, if you want to see,
it's such a good time too.
Oh yeah.
It is. What else are you going to do? Come on.
Yeah.
Stay home. You want to stay home another night? So, go see them, because if you don't, they won't keep coming. So, if you like something, put your money there.
Yep.
Yeah. And I know it's a very different movie, but I think the success of Terrifier 2 helped a lot with all horror movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
But don't expect. Your movie's much different than Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
Which that also played at it played before my movie Terrifier 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you were sandwiched in between two crazy
Terrifier
huge
2 and
movies.
Excellent. What the hell are they doing to me? But
you're like, thanks a lot, guys.
It was still a good time. So I saw in an interview you did with a puppet that about a couple books that you would like to turn into movies.
Ooh.
Yes. The puppet was awesome. So one book is called The Summer of Bitter and Sweet, which I'm working on my second draft right now of my adaptation of that. And the other one is called Half Breed, and I'm hoping that can be a limited series.
Oh.
So 6 to 7 cool. sort of 1 hour episodes. But I love right now on TV that you could be like, this episode's a 40-minute, but this one's 70 minutes. Like, why not?
Exactly.
I agree. A story should be as long as it needs.
Exactly.
And not because we've all seen movies that should have been a short, really, and they blew it up to to an hour and a half, or sometimes now 2.5 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help it. It actually takes it down. And then why truncate something to 58 minutes or something when it could be 70 minutes, like you said?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I like adapting a lot because it's like you have this world and these characters, and then you get to kind of do whatever you want with them. Like honoring the intention of the author is really important to me, but it's also a different medium. So it's like, oh, they've done all this hard work, made this amazing, these voices, characters, place, situation, but then I get to take that and go. So I guess it's just because I'm kind of lazy in some ways. It's like, let me
No,
adapt.
I think that's the best way for most books. Like I realize Stephen King books, and the best ones usually are like the series versions because they have longer
Mhm.
to tell the story, and it's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and his books are very long, so it's hard to cut that all down to an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it really they are big books. I mean, Carrie was very good though.
Yeah. Oh no, there's I mean like Pet Cemetery and stuff, but
Yeah.
just some of them, it's almost impossible to cut it down into
Yeah.
an hour and a half.
You really can't.
And from what I understand, people always mention this that right now series are really good because all the streaming sites and all the platforms, they need content, and
Oh, yeah.
a series just that's more hours.
Yeah. True.
So I know that's not an artistic thing to bring up, but it's
No, it is. Well, it's always that. I think this business is that meeting of commerce and art.
yeah.
Like,
And we get a lot of cool series, I think, in the last 20 years, like stuff you
Oh,
probably
yeah.
wouldn't have seen normally.
absolutely. What are your favorites?
Well, even I love Sopranos and Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul. Probably name stuff people on there, but Shield is really good. Trying to think of something more out there, but I don't know. There's been so many. Do you have any ones that
many.
stand out?
How about you, Troy?
Let me see. Like sometimes it's just a limited one that just has like 3 episodes, like that
Was it
Dracula
Black Mass? That was
from Black Mass was
Is it
great on
Midnight
Netflix
Oh, I
too.
didn't see that one.
Midnight Mass,
Midnight
that's what
Mass,
it was.
yeah.
Oh,
About the
okay.
vampires on Netflix. It's tremendous.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
It's
it's
so
great.
good. I think you'll love it.
Ooh, I like a good recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
now
I like
maybe-
that
there's a couple of
The Dracula you mentioned was good too. I like.
yeah, and that was
Oh,
only a 3-episode thing, and but they kind of told their story, and it was perfect in 3 episodes. But then in there's a Korean series, The Kingdom, which is a great zombie series,
okay.
and it's I think much longer. I think each season is like 25 episodes,
Oh, wow.
and there's like 3 seasons of that. So yeah, I can. It's like you were saying, like you can jump around from however long it takes to tell a good story, and like I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Yeah.
And I know it's not horror or anything, but I'm a big fan of Barry as well.
Oh, Barry's great.
Yeah,
on
very,
HBO.
very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I mean, pretty much all the HBO series.
Oh, yeah,
even
you
stuff
can't go
I
wrong.
don't watch. I assume if I start watching them, I don't really think I've ever watched one. I'm like, I don't want to watch this thing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think there's a lot on there that I've watched one and then said, nah, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Did you guys get into Yellow Jackets at all? Season 1?
Oh, my friend Robin has been recommending this.
I've heard good things about it too, but no, I haven't seen it yet.
I liked season 1. I've just started season 2, and I'm like, it was kind of a long gap between them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I'm like, it hasn't got me quite back yet, but I hope that it will. But season 1 was very, very good. Yeah.
And Peaky Blinders on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
such a great series too.
Yeah, I started wearing the caps because of Peaky.
Nice.
So
as far as something that I think somebody should grab and make into like a movie is F. Paul Wilson's short story Faces, which is one of the most clever serial killer stories. It's a really, really good story. It's a female serial killer who's kind of disfigured, and it's just a really great story. I can't remember what it's on one of his short story collections.
Very cool. Okay.
That's one. Anybody that ever makes it, I'll be the first person in line to watch it.
Good to know.
Yeah, you'll deserve, a cut of some kind.
That's it. Well, once it'll come back on, it'll be good to see him again. Super nice guy.
I want to mention too that you have an acknowledgement at the end of the movie for the Territories Treaty 7. If you wanted to explain what that is.
Because you guys are in the States, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't find out what cities are you in, or where are you exactly?
We're both in Massachusetts, but different cities.
Okay, cool. So in Canada, we have a whole other history. We went a different way. We stayed with the English. They forced that. But basically, there's 11 treaty territories in Canada, and these were agreements and territories with each territory was, represented. It's like people have been in each of those territories for 20,000 years. So the very different Indigenous groups in each territory, and basically the treaties were agreements made, and it's a relationship. And for Indigenous people, like a spiritual relationship, there's a spiritual component, and like it's an agreement, a deep agreement. So each treaty has a different agreement, and I live in Treaty 7. And if you look at like what the treaties are really about and what was really said, like they're legal documents. So we're call ourselves here like treaty people. So British Columbia is the only area that isn't in treaty. So it's called unceded. So there's wasn't agreements there. But I live in Treaty 7. So it's sort of one of those things where if we don't, colonization is forget about those promises and that agreement that we said we're going to do. Let's not remember. It's like, no, let's remember. And it's important. And we're all the better for honoring those agreements. Yeah. So that's something that in Canada, it's a many hundreds of years relationship that's going on. It's not ending. It's still happening. And so that's something that's just part of our culture that I've lived in the States, and I was like, oh, it's not like that here.
Yeah.
It's more.
I actually never seen it in a movie or heard of it before, so I thought I would like to ask you.
Yeah, we did a land acknowledgement, and land acknowledgements are not for the Indigenous people because they don't need to do that, but it's for the non-Indigenous people to just take a moment to recognize hey, I'm a guest here. Okay. I want to bring this intention to this place and honor this place. And so we did land acknowledgements and with our cast and crew at the beginning. And I think it was a good thing. It's just sets things on a good path forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So I really like Dark Nature and want everyone to check it out when it comes out in the theater if you can. And if you can't, you said it'll be on streaming sites?
Yep, all of them.
Excellent.
All of them. It'll be there. So May 19th. Go and watch them on all. So get some credit on all of them.
Go one to another. I like that.
Yeah, top 10 people who watch them on all. Yeah, signed picture, my signature on a picture of William Crane with my baby.
I like it.
Yeah. And where can people follow you to see what you're up to? Not back to your cave in the woods.
Yeah, well, come to Canada and hike this mountain, take a left, follow the scent of hot dogs.
And... Follow the bear. If you see the grizzly
bear who's
going somewhere, yep.
And you will find me. So thanks to the film, it's pushing me to get my company's Instagram, pay some attention to it, which is Nika_productions. And I'm on Facebook, Berkley Brady. NikaProductions.co is my website. There's a form there if anyone is hey, come shoot a movie here. That's how you can find me.
Excellent.
Very cool. Well, this has been very fun to talk with you.
Oh, yeah.
So good to talk with you guys.
Yeah. And
you'll have to come back again one day.
Yeah, congratulations on the movie.
Back. I've got all sorts of opinion on horror movies, all sorts of horror movies.
All right.
Awesome. Such a pleasure, guys.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Good
it was
to meet
great.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. And
awesome.
Look forward to future projects from you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Troy. So I've got some stuff here I wanted to talk about.
Just between the two of us, or should we share this with people?
We can share it with everybody.
All right.
So if you need to take a break, I could play a song quick.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Perfect.
All right.
I can get some
I'm
more
going to
drink.
play a song from music of the month Sorrowseed, and we'll come back, and I'm going to tell everyone, Troy included, the full lineup of Severed Limbs, the 13th, which is
Ooh.
playing
13.
this
See, I have the old
weekend.
school 2 on.
That's very true. I cheated, and I made one for me that just says
Nice.
Severed Limbs that I could wear.
Oh,
all
that's
day.
perfect. Then you could wear it to everyone.
Right. We'll talk about maybe the 14th one we'll do. But for right now, we're going to play a tune from Sorrowseed. Then we'll come back and we will talk about these films that you'll be seeing this Saturday.
Awesome. Sounds good, Chief. I'll be
We'll
back
do
in a moment.
Hey, so we are back here once again at Without Your Head. Big thanks to Berkley Brady for being on the show. You can check out her film, Dark Nature, May 19th at theaters and VOD. It's very cool. By the way, I forgot to mention an animal warning. So if you watch Dark Nature, if you're going in there, just be warned that there is some animal stuff in the film. I know some people, hate to see that. Hello! And also big thanks to Michael Veau and Mark Veau and Michael Savino of Media House Films, Attack of the Killer Refrigerator, The Hook of Woodland Heights, Days Before Christmas, and Snapper. Very cool. Big thanks to Sorrowseed, our music of the month here. Shout out to Annabelle Lecter, cannot be here tonight, but she will be back next week when we will have the fine people of Thrust. It will be a good time. And Brian Moore, sculptor, talking about his new film. Hello, Troy.
Hello, Neil. How
I
are
still sound the same because my my earphones, the one died, and so I switched out earbuds.
Actually, you sound better for whatever
sweet.
reason. Yeah.
No, I hear much better. So.
Oh, okay. You were a little low, or maybe that was my my speakers acting up.
I don't know. These are much better for me. I hear much better.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you sound better, unless it's
Right.
just me losing my mind.
Could be. Cowabunga from Surf City here, David Perry. Good dude. Oh, I should play that. I should play another video, but we'll play that here in a little bit. Let me grab.
Don't you grab me, fella.
I will grab you. All right. Let's see here. I'm just going to grab. While I'm grabbing these, I'm going to play a quick video, and this is from our good friends at. It came from the 508, and their new project that is coming up soon, Beneath the Red Umbrella. So I'm going to play that quick, and then I'm going to have. We're going to go over some stuff that you'll be seeing at Severed Limits 13. Beneath the Red Umbrella. That'll be coming up soon from those good folks. Go check out their website.
There was uneasy music in there.
It was. It had me scared.
Yep, me too.
It's a scary, scary man out there. All right. Let me grab these up. All right. So, we're going to start out showing some of the the trailers that we're not gonna watch the trailers. I'm just gonna show you some of the the official trailers of Severed Limbs 13. What you can be in store for.
Oh,
So we have Blood Brothers Life Harvest. Looks pretty cool.
yep, digging it.
That will be one of the official selections, and then you can also so how it is you're going to watch it. It is a live virtual film festival. We've got like quite a few. I think it's the most trailers we ever had, and over 20 short films.
Nice.
And so we'll watch them all together. There's an interactive chat room with filmmakers and film watchers alike. And
it's always so much fun because you can kind of like throw some stuff out there, and usually the filmmakers are there. You can tell them, hey, I love this or that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Double B's, the story of sex and nudity in horror movies.
Okay.
So hide your eyes, Tazo. I see you out there. Robbie Scar, if you're out there.
No impure thoughts.
The hairy ones. This poster is really nice. We also are going to give awards for favorite posters.
Oh, that one might be a winner so far. I dig that.
Pretty sweet. Half Cut Harlot. Inmate Insanity.
Nice.
It Came from Your Anus. The Planet.
Okay.
I have the names here. I'm not positive what this one is called. I know it's got something to do with Jesus.
Jesus thumbs up.
Jesus motherfucking Christ. I don't want to offend anyone out there, but that is the name of that film.
All right.
This is Jezebel.
Okay.
Judy the Inflatable Friend. Killer Poop, the Amityville Poop.
Oh, it's Killer Poop 2.
It is Killer Poop 2, sorry. Do You Know the Muffin Man?
Nice.
Nazi Werewolves from the Moon.
I love the title.
Favorite of Lexar out there. I forget the name of this one. I probably shouldn't show it too long on screen. I believe that was Necro something. Let me grab the name. This one here is Porcelain, but the former one was... Can't find it. Oh, Necro Lesbians.
Okay.
Necro Lesbians, yeah. And this, you must be 18 or older to watch Severed Limbs. Porcelain. Space Goblins. Which,
I'm looking forward to this one. Yes. When I saw like some stills and stuff.
Yes, and so this will be the trailer, but the feature may have someone here involved as one of the voices. So that's very exciting. She-Dogs of the SS. We have a couple Nazi-themed movies here. Stoner Snakes. That's a new one.
Yep.
The Hair or of It All.
Oh.
The Rage Part 2, Infected Inside. That's a pretty cool poster too.
I know. I like that one too. Yeah.
And that is all for those. So let me then we'll
and those are all the trailers?
Those are the trailers.
Okay,
so let me,
cool.
Grab the feature films. Pepe Petit wants to know, is that Buddy Christ?
Oh.
He also said earlier his puppy chewed my charger cables to both my pairs of headphones.
That's the price you pay with puppies.
Yes.
I have found that out.
Shout out to Tauza the Greek in here. He was throwing out some like dad jokes earlier about like if your refrigerator is running.
Oh, nice. He's got his Henny Youngman on, does he?
Exactly. So These are the feature shorts that
Oh,
will be
okay.
playing. We have The Ground Beyond.
Oh, I kind of love that poster too.
Yeah, it's a really sweet poster. Let me. That's by Jeremy Aruda, who's a really cool local to us up in
Nice.
Boston, I believe. It's based on the work of Stephen King and Mary Lambert, so it's kind of a sort of a it's a Pet Cemetery story. It's very cool.
Oh, nice.
I've seen these. That's very good. Robot Duck with Joe Filipponi, who is a former guest on the show, and it is by Matthew Mark Hunter, also a former guest on the show.
Nice.
I keep losing my thing here. Ghost Hotel,
Oh,
also by Matthew. Tales to Chill the Bone. I do have a description of this one.
okay.
Tales to Chill the Bone is an anthology short film with stories of a pumpkin lord, a child killer, an insane clown, a makeup artist like no other, and a story to put your mind to the test.
That's a lot crammed into a short
Yeah,
there.
you don't see a short film that's also an anthology.
No.
It's interesting. Lydia's Fall. A teen girl hosts a haunt for the locals in her town on Halloween night.
I like the
Directed-
setup.
Yes, directed by Hope Mubauer. Death by a Thousand Cuts by Sam Salerno, who's a fairly well-known indie director. After seeing a young woman kidnapped and taken to a house, a popular horror video blogger decides to go into the house, armed with only his camera, to see what he can find. Then
Probably not a good idea.
Oh, no. So, Troy, if you ever want to do this, I don't think this is a good idea.
Okay. Good plan.
That should not be the next episode of With
I'll
Me.
be there not to do that with you then.
All right. Wormhole, also by Sam. A woman calls a man and asks him to keep her company. Manifestations of their worst fears come through the walls to attack them.
Nice. I like it.
I like it. This is Channel. When a has-been rocker comes home after a bender, things get bent.
Ooh. Okay.
That has me intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
The Rage. Now we'll be showing the trailer for The Rage 2, but then we're going to actually be showing the actual short for The Rage.
Oh, wow.
This is not a drill. A bioscientist tries to escape an infected lab and save his girlfriend, by Joshua Cleave.
I dig the look of that poster, too. That one's
one's
pretty
played.
effective.
Yeah, and it's played a ton of festivals. It Got Bloody. By Juan Antonio Rotundo, who I saw at Renegade Film Festival in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And it was very cool. He recognized me from Severed Limbs. Usually,
Oh, no
if
kidding.
anyone knows me, it's from the podcast.
Oh, that's
cool.
pretty sweet. I like that.
A girl is being hanged by a guy in the middle of a room. If she manages to escape, maybe he will know the reason why he tries to murder her with such hatred. Wow. Does not sound very fun-loving.
No, it does not.
This is Baby Shifter. Being a babysitter can be killer.
Nice.
Kyle Kenners, the Petersboro Prowler, has come upon his latest victim, another babysitter, to help satisfy his bloodlust. But all this seems little too easy when he's able to find out he's not the only one that goes bump in the night.
Ooh, okay. I'm definitely intrigued by that one.
Yes, by M.J. Dixon. The Killer Sponge. An old dried up sponge finds a new lease on life when it gets a taste for blood.
All right, I dig it.
And that's by David Zagorski. Camp Butcher.
Ooh.
Camp Butcher is a 15-minute horror comedy about a group of friends who go on a camping trip in the countryside to catch up and reminisce about their time in a band. However, the trip takes a terrifying turn when they become the target of a cannibal father and son duo who are hunting them down. Set in the woodlands, this campy film delivers a blend of horror and humor as the friends fight for survival against their gruesome attackers.
You had me a cannibal father and son. I'm
Exactly.
down with this one.
That's by Damien Fear and Joe Cash. Very nice poster, too. Carnal Monsters. Music video for the upcoming film Carnal Monsters. Eating Fucking Glass by the band Iron Tooth.
I dig it.
Yes. I like this poster, too. This is
Ooh, I
My
like
House.
that. Yeah, that's pretty eerie looking. I like it.
An experimental horror film about what lurks inside an empty, dimly lit house. By Connor Morley. Not Ferratu. A vampire just trying to get in a good night's sleep is rudely awakened by the vampire slaying van smelling things.
All right, I'm down with it.
I like it. A Note from a Haunted Piano by Andrew Buckner. Run, Dracula, Run by Bess Williams.
Okay.
I like the poster.
I do too. I dig it.
Don't Touch. This is also by Bess Williams. A Shapeless Dystopian Parable by Andrew Buckner.
Okay.
The Disorganized Thoughts of a Misdirected Genius Hellbent on Fixing the World from his mother's basement. Now,
Just the look on that guy's face, I'm down with.
Yes, yes. And if we were going to give awards just for titles, I think that one.
Oh, yeah. That one's tough to beat.
Yeah. That's by
Or with
Michael
facial
Giacchino.
expressions.
Yes, it's if they wanted to do a fan film of the Reanimator.
Yes, that's the man.
Man.
Yep.
The Killer Granny
Ooh.
Doll.
I like it.
By the return of Severed Limbs favorite Nicholas Hatch. He's been absent for a while. He's back.
Yep. Good to see him back.
And he's also coming back with Cold Out
nice.
Here.
It does look pretty cold. I don't think there's truth in advertising.
I agree. Cam Girl Killer. Another cool poster.
Yeah, I dig it.
Be Careful Who You Meet Online by Eric Poe, who Troy and I met at Mad Monster. He's in the scene with me in the Balsamo movie.
Oh, okay. Yep. Nice.
Mrs. Holloway. In a small suburban community, Mrs. Betty Holloway is everyone's favorite neighbor. She comes off as the nicest elderly widow you'd ever meet. Someone who's always kind and caring, loves baking and winning big prizes. However, her kind demeanor is nothing but a facade. Beneath her pleasant surface lies a dark entity full of hatred, greed, and jealousy.
Oh.
And at this year's pie baking contest, Mrs. Holloway must do what she can in order to win first place and bake a pie that's to die for.
Her pie is to die for.
Her secret ingredient is murder.
Oh.
That is by Connor Morley.
All right, I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, great description.
Yeah.
This is I don't know. This is Insufficient by Andrew Buckner. It's a hell of a poster. Sorry, Mr. Buckner, but you gotta do a little better on the poster, my man. And again and again and again. Opening right amidst the action, a knife-wielding maniac pursues his terrified victim home. Bloodshed ensues, but things are far from what they appear to be. By Kaylin Jordanson. So those are the official lineups for Severed.
I'm liking it. As usual, like it's a good mix of like different things. Some of them look really spooky, and
Yeah.
some of them look pretty like enjoyable, and you know, kind
Some I
of
don't know what's
easy
going on.
going. And some of them, yeah, some of them have 3 dots in a glass.
Exactly.
So I don't know what the hell's happening.
Exactly. It's a weird time out there. So some people sending some questions here in the group. By the way,
Alright.
if you would like to send in a question, send that in the chat. If you would like to video in, let me know and I'll send you a link. All right. Let me pull these up. Pepe Potit. Thoughts on the Meg 2? Now, the first Meg I was looking forward to, but it's very rotten.
Was it?
Yeah. Did you ever see it?
No.
It's not a good movie, but I will say the poster for the Meg 2 is very cool.
Yeah, I mean, the poster for the first one was cool, too.
Yeah, but what does that mean? It just means you have a cool poster and you might trick me into watching it.
Yep. Yeah, I probably won't be watching the Meg 2. I didn't watch a Meg 1. And my dog's name is Meg, though.
Oh, really? Well, the that's weird you say that because the poster is a little puppy sitting on a dock, and the Meg's like coming up to eat it.
Oh, man.
So I think that even though I think it's cool, I think it might be off-putting for some folks.
Oh, yeah. That one I'm not sure.
Yeah, because that's one of the things like that people aren't into, or the animal stuff.
Yep.
You know, even Crazy Tazo here in the chat, he doesn't want to see that.
No. He might be down with killing everybody else, but not the critters.
See?
Oh, yeah, you're
It
right.
is a cool poster, though.
That is a neat poster, though. You're right.
That poor little puppy.
Yeah.
I don't know what this was in reference to. Is that my colon doctor?
That shark?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Uh,
What's Tazo's colon doctor doing? Biting his ass? The last voyage of how do you say that? The Demeter?
oh,
That
yeah, I
one
think
looks
the
good.
Demeter. That looks great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one
People-
I'm so looking forward to.
People not aware, it's a Dracula movie.
And he's one spooky ass looking Dracula too. He's more of that Nosferatu looking Dracula. going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, and it's just that one, as it says, the one chapter. So it's has how Dracula gets to the States.
Well,
which is
to
very
England,
interesting.
right? Isn't that where he's? Doesn't he go to England?
Oh, I thought. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he. Yeah. I think in some versions how he gets here, but yeah.
Oh, could be.
Got some former guests. It's got a former guest on the show. Javier Bardem. Oh, Javier Botet actually plays Dracula.
Oh, that's awesome.
Former
That's why
guest
he's
here on
got
the
that
show.
eerie look. That's excellent.
Yeah. He's probably too big now to come back home, but maybe down the line we'll get him back on. And David, I don't know how you say his name, David Dasmalchian. He's in a lot of stuff lately.
And who is he?
He was Polka Dot Man in
Oh yeah,
Suicide
okay.
Squad, which I thought was great.
Yep. I didn't know. I didn't know he was in that. I didn't see him in the trailers.
Yeah.
Because I know the one guy plays the Onion Knight in Game of Thrones. He's the captain on the ship.
Liam
Just
Cunningham, yeah.
Davos.
Yeah, it's cool because he's I believe this guy's also in the Boogeyman coming out.
Oh,
He's in Dune. He's in all kinds of stuff. He's in Boston Strangler.
oh! Did you watch a trailer for Dune Part 2? It looks very good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the original. but
Oh,
I'll
that's
probably end
right.
up seeing it.
You didn't like the first one. I loved it.
It's a happy thing from the first egg. Oh, interesting. But they put it in the poster.
Oh,
Anyone who abuses animals is evil. We agree with that. Davos, where the elite meet to plan the next. Oh, brother.
Aboard the Demeter.
Yes, exactly. So, did you see anything cool this week?
Let me see. We saw.
I saw. Go on.
Well, you and I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Great movie.
I can't tell you how much I loved it. I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, and I'm not always big on all these, but I thought that was just fantastic. It might be my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite comic book movies I've ever seen. I just loved it.
I agree.
And it was so fast paced, and bunch of really tear jerk moments and bunch of great funny moments and a lot of action. Just got everything in it. Everything you want in a good comic book movie.
Yeah. So the Once and Future Smash has been accepted to Gen Con.
Awesome.
Is very cool. So it's a big gaming convention, people who don't know, and it's I didn't actually know they had a film festival, so that'll be very
I didn't
cool.
either. Do they still do like all the like RPG stuff and everything there? Okay.
Yeah, all kinds of role playing games and board games and card games, and like you can play test games. And
so I think they used to have like a giant 20-sided die as like their symbol. I don't know if they still do.
Yeah, I think that's on the shirt. I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Rose McGowan is going to be at Mad Monster Charlotte coming up. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
I don't think she's really done too many festivals.
No, I don't think so either.
Mad Monster Arizona is coming up in July. So if you want to go, if you're not hot enough wherever you are and you want to get even hotter, you go to Arizona in July. But,
probably a little toasty.
Yeah, tons of very cool guests at that one.
Oh, I bet.
This was very cool, Troy. Clint Howard has said he is making Ice Cream Man 2.
I'm down with that.
Yes. Who does? How can you not love Clint Howard?
Yep, love Clint Howard, and I love the Ice Cream Man. So let's a sequel to that just sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the first one though, because I thought he died at the end, but maybe I'm wrong.
It probably does, but does the Ice Cream Man ever really die?
He shouldn't. He should not ever die.
I agree. You can't kill a good Ice Cream Man.
That's it. That was another good Tales from the Crypt, the one with the Ice Cream Man, where his Siamese twin dies.
Yeah, and they're connected back to back.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Underrated. So coming up next week here, we're going to have sculptor and filmmaker Brian Moore. He's going to be talking about, he's making a new H.P. Lovecraft film. That'll be
Looking forward to that.
And we will also have Victor Bonacore, director, and the iconic Linnea Quigley from their new Grindhouse film Thrust.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yep, looking forward to that too.
Probably have some other cast members on the show from that.
Good times coming up.
Yeah,
tonight was a good time. Definitely enjoyed
definitely.
all of our guests. A lot of fun. Yeah. Way cool seeing the stuff coming up this weekend for the 13th Severed Limbs.
Yeah,
wow.
So next one will be the 14th, but we're not worried about that right now. We're worried about Severed Limbs the 13th, Saturday. It's only 2 days from now. Really, almost not even 2 days. A day and a half from now. Come on out. Watch it with us. There'll be a live chat room that really adds to the thing. You sit back, 5-6 hours, sit down, watch a bunch of short films, interact with everybody. We've got a bunch of cool judges. We got Tara Hutchison, one of our judges. The Headless Critic, Diablo Joe, Ty Chaman, Larry from New Village Video.
Oh, okay.
Very cool, man.
Yep.
So it's very good. And of course, our celebrity judge who will be judging the effects and the favorite creature, Joe Castro.
Too cool. I mean, like, this is the all-star panel of judges. I'm liking this.
Pepe Petit, my favorite scene is when the guy's head is in that waffle cone.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. It's pretty sweet.
Yep.
And I do want to show this too. This is so cool. I love these anyway. I've been buying them. I think I'm behind a couple. But the Invisible Man. Oh my Lord. I have to get that.
Oh. I may have to get one of those for myself too.
I've got the Frankenstein one over here. I've got the Wolfman up here, and I've got the Mummy over here.
Nice.
I believe Dracula is out, and a Bride is coming out, so I have to get those. But I believe Dracula one is out, so I have to get my hands on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I have to get this one. I'll get them all.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then when he feeds that cop, that's a good one too. And when he feeds the cop the inside of an eyeball, it will try to get him back on. He was on the show before. It was really fun.
Yep.
And he told us we could call anytime. He had some crazy cell phone.
Oh my God, I loved that. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna we'll play us out with music of the month, Sorrowseed. And we'll be back next week. What do you think, Mr. Jones? We'll be back Saturday for 7.
Oh, that's right. Hook it. Come check it out. Severed Limbs, always a great time. Always have a ton of fun at those. And this one, did you say you could watch on both on?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm
Facebook
going to try to do it both Facebook and YouTube if I can work that out. But that is the working plan.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Because I know some people are anti-Facebook, some people are anti-YouTube. I think the more eyes that can be on it, the better.
That's a win-win, I think. Yep. Yep.
And then
if you have a grudge against one, watch the other one.
Exactly. And then later in the week, I will present the award.
Nice.
Maybe we'll do it live on the show next week.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
All
right, Nasty One. We will see you Saturday.
Yes. All right, Terrible One. Tomorrow, I got to remember, this is not horror related, but tomorrow I'll try to get our tickets for AEW because they're going.
Oh yeah. Always looking forward to that. Good night, everybody.
so gruesome.